painkillers, obviously it kind of raises your body temperature, which starts the blood flowing more, which is weird because obviously the veins there, which is throbbing behind the tooth, and so
it's fucking old soil on it, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. I just got the notification for the live stream, so it does come up on it.
Ah, cool.
Watch it. That'd be really fucking weird.
Yeah, it would be. You'd be watching yourself. But would there be no time delay? There would be still time delay.
But would there really be time delay? Tell you, I let Jessica watch all of Mighty Boosh.
Did you?
Yeah, I'm a terrible parent.
Yeah, well, I was thinking the same thing with Dylan.
She loved it though.
I've been wondering
because she's watching 9-9 as well. She found out about.
She's watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah, but that's all right. But
is it?
no, but there's nothing like adult in it. But also she found out about I was saying about his band Lonely Island. She's like, he's in a band. I'm like, yeah. And I was like, oh no, you can't listen to any of that. Like, no.
So we'll just give it a second because obviously we've just gone live about a minute ago. I'd prefer to be able to pause the stream. Obviously, it's a fresh stream, so if anybody's waiting on the other one, there might be.
Sup, nobody.
Oh, they're coming back.
Yeah, we're just kind of prepping. Gary, the voice of God is talking. Yeah, they did call you God.
I desire.
Hey, Matthias.
Macaroni picture. What's up, guys?
One on the left is a pretty mouth.
I do. Thank you for noticing.
Watch it. Ready?
What?
He's putting his finger in Gary.
My finger's going to go off screen in a minute, poking you. Watch it, ready? Right.
No, I guess that is how a time delay works.
We're messing with time. It's like Bill and Ted all
this
over
is
again.
like where we were like, oh, how do we sort out the time delay? And he's just fascinated by it. He's like, no, don't fix it.
Man, that's it. It always makes me think of Scream.
What does?
What, time delay?
Yeah.
How?
The guy in the van, he puts the camera in the house.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes outside and there's the time delay. Yeah.
I don't know. It was like over 20 years ago, and I just.
Why, Alf Garnett? Fucking hell, just brought up a fucking pop culture reference.
Right, I
outrage.
think this is on. I think we're ready to go.
We are on.
And welcome back to part 2 of the podcast, where we're going to be talking about our favourite and least favourite video games ever. Some of us have got top 10s, some top 5s, and some honourable mentions. And I believe we're going to start with our worst video games we've ever played.
Well,
get this out of the way.
I mean, let's just talk about worst video games. We've played a lot of video games in our time. All three of us combined, shall we say. And we have played some fucking dregs. Now, I'm not even going to go onto my list, but do you remember back in the day, your first computer? What was your first computer?
Sinclair ZX Spectrum.
ZX Spectrum.
ZX Spectrum. Both had ZX Spectrums, right? And how long would it take to load up a game?
6 minutes.
Infinity.
It felt like infinity, but it's probably about 6 minutes.
It was like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And when you died in these games, which was what, long or short periods?
Well,
you know,
as a kid, dude, probably regularly. All the fucking time.
And then at the same time, when you were trying to learn how to actually complete that game,
if it could be,
a
lot of games back then would just get a high score.
Yeah.
But when you had these games, like I played a lot of games when I was a kid, and I really wanted to get really fucking good at game playing. But some games were just so badly made.
Well, the control systems were not sophisticated, were they? That was the problem with most games.
It was a keyboard, no mouse.
I would like to say that's a good point, but then you compare the technology you had with the at the time, yeah. So for a ZX Spectrum, it would have been a keyboard and a screen,
a joystick,
a joystick, and a tape player, right? You can pretty much get that with a PC nowadays, and you could still buy a fucking shitty game, which your brand new PC can't properly run.
Yeah, there's some on our list.
Yeah, but what would you say is the worst game you had when you had as a kid? Not looking at your list, what game
for the Spectrum?
For the Spectrum, what game did you?
I don't know, man, because everything was great when you were a
everything
fucking
was
kid.
great. Yeah,
Shit games were awesome.
I'll
tell you what. I'll say actually, yeah, okay. The worst game that I had on the ZX Spectrum was Dragon's Lair.
Oh,
right.
No, but because because I couldn't get past the first fucking screen. You were on a floating disc with this thing blown at you, and for the love of fuck, I couldn't work out how to get past it. No one tell me in the comments. I don't want to know. But so I thought it looked amazing. You had that great intro and everything. But I was just like, that was probably 8 years old. My first instance of fuck this game.
Is that Dark the Knight?
Yeah, man.
With Dragon's Lair. I had Dragon's Lair on the Nintendo, and I know it was on a lot of different consoles as well. Arcade game, with the animation that you could obviously do the quick time events. The Nintendo version had none of that.
Right.
It was, like you said, at the time, it was a little grey joypad, with the 2 buttons, and you had to move the character along. But you had to dodge a fireball and dodge a bat, and you had to make it along the bridge because the bridge was going to fall away, and you had to get in past.
It's a Simon's Quest.
You had to get in past the portcullis, the fucking gate, to get into the next part.
Yeah.
You could never do
No, that first screen of death.
Screen of fucking death. Because one hit.
Yeah.
When he got hit, he was dead.
Yeah.
Somebody designed that and went, I'm going to give that to a kid.
Yeah.
Going to hand that to a 9-year-old
Some
and
people
go.
are jerks.
Right.
So that definitely answers that one, yeah.
But
sorry, Gary, where were you?
Top 5 worst video or honourable mentions.
I'm putting fucking Dragon's Lair on it now.
But I mean, obviously we've got this whole section to talk about this theme and worst and best games. Like nowadays, it's risky with buying games. Like we bought Red Dead Redemption 2. You and I did.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Without looking at a single review, it was
same
free
here.
purchase.
I didn't need to watch a trailer.
Well,
yours, money with the first one.
Yours was pre-purchased. Mine was bought for a present. I actually looked at Red Dead Redemption and I was like, I'm gonna wait for that game to come out because it's just too good to be true. It looks too nice. It's on the best running computer. It's not on PC. This game, I'm gonna wait for it. And I went and got Space Hulk Tactics instead, which was a lot cheaper.
Right on.
Brilliant underrated game. When Red Dead Redemption 2 came out though, you played it to completion, single player, and then went, no, not playing online. And I carried on playing online.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I haven't played it since I fucking completed the single player.
And the game is a master marvel of mechanics and lighting and things like that. But the game is still getting a lot of hate for being a terrible game. Yeah. Which kind of makes me go, how does that fit into the categories of worst games? When you have a really good AAA brilliant game that comes out.
Well, you can either judge it as its whole or judge it by the sum of its parts. And some games want to be online live services, and other games just want to go, there's your single player. And there's games that have both. They have the single player and the multiplayer. And Red Dead wanted to have its cake and eat it too. And their fallback excuse is, well, Red Dead 2 online is only in beta.
Yes,
it's not the finished thing as we envisioned.
How long can you
6 months later? It's still in beta.
Yeah,
and it's like, so why didn't? It's like,
well,
why didn't you just wait and release something?
Why not charge people to play test their game for them?
Yeah. It's just it's disappointing.
How are you getting on with 8th edition 40k?
Yeah, I was just saying.
I've been playtesting that bitch for about a year.
Just about to say that.
So yeah, maybe there is something to that. I think there's a lot of those beta releases. Basically, it's just free testing for them, isn't it?
But
what you're saying is sort of like with the worst 5 games that we're doing is it's kind of like it's like you said, it's like when you're saying about it's getting a lot of hate online and stuff like that, it's obviously because of that person's experience, isn't it?
Yeah, we've got a lot.
That's why we've picked like
a lot of personal games that we hated.
Yeah.
I mean, Gary, you're number 5 worst.
Well, I've got a couple of honourable mentions first, and this one goes against the grain because this is a game that by and large is loved. I had a quick look for it earlier to see what other people's reactions were, and it was a 97% out of 100 loved this game.
Really?
And this was a game that I switched off and never went back. I was so frustrated with the mechanics and the gameplay that
Catherine.
No, this is Freedom Fighters. On the PlayStation 2 and on the Xbox original, yeah.
No, I never played it.
I didn't play it. I know it took me a minute. I was trying to think of the game.
A lot of people really loved it. They have great memories of it. But when I got to the game, I hated it. I got rage. While playing that game, I was like, "This is awful," and just stopped playing.
Graphically, story-wise.
I mean, graphically,
combat,
it was fine. Yeah, everything.
It
was the gameplay. It wasn't cel shaded. No.
First-person shooter.
Third person.
Yeah.
I think it was during a helicopter battle or a tank battle, and I just kept getting blown up repeatedly. I was like, I'm just done.
Cover-based shooter?
Kind of,
I think I'm thinking of the wrong game. I don't know the one you
but like I said, very popular game, one that I really hated. Again, another popular game that I really hated was Grand Theft Auto 4. Being a massive fan of all of the Grand Theft Autos up to that point,
really?
number 4 was the one that annoyed me and frustrated me the most. 4 was the one with the Russian protagonist.
No,
4. I'm sorry, dude. That was 3.
fucking Liberty City.
You're talking about Nico Bellic.
Yes, I couldn't.
Right,
I never finished that game. I never finished the story. I got so uninterested because it was like I need to go pick someone up, take him to work.
It wasn't bad.
But
it was
the
mission. No, he's right. The missions were
it was
quite
Grand
repetitive
Theft
and they were a
Auto
little bit
3,
boring.
mate,
But
on Xbox.
I gotta say that I still really enjoyed Grand Theft Auto 4 just because but only for the reason that it was that generation. It was the first one on that new gen. People forget that 4 was it called Liberty City?
Liberty City.
Yeah.
It's the same generation of console as Grand Theft Auto 5.
Right.
Yeah.
It's amazing what 5 years and 5 million quid will do.
I agree.
Because the differences between those games is
Grand
like
Theft Auto
night
5
and day.
I was 2 years. That was 2 years well spent. But I mean, GTA 4, I didn't actually play at the time because I knew it was going to be a big game. I played a lot of the GTA games, and then when I did get to it, it was a lot. Like you said, drive here, do the mission, pick this guy up, take him here. You had this whole storyline behind Nico Bellic and his cousin.
Yeah,
his cousin was in
I tried to get behind, and then I fell out of it, and then I started doing the side missions, and I started playing it like a proper Grand Theft Auto game, and I was just like, actually, I'm getting into this now. I went back and did the further missions, completed the story, really got behind the story at that point, because I missed the characters as I was off finding all the hidden packages, because 100% the hidden packages, just because I could.
Right.
When you have the internet there to help you, find everything, you're like, how fucking yeah.
Yeah. But for me, it was the driving around, getting stuck in traffic. You're like, you bump a single car or go for a red light, and the one
you will get shot.
Mate, it's fucking mate.
Those police will fuck your day up for a fender bender, won't they? Yeah.
And so for me, it was after playing Grand Theft Auto 4 that I jumped ship and started playing all of the Saints Row games and never looked back. Absolutely love the Saints Row games. So those are my honourable mentions for the worst.
Saints Row. No.
I will give one honourable mention because there isn't an example of it on my top 5, but any Kinect game ever.
Right? Yes. Yeah.
Fuck that thing.
How was that? How was that for 130 quid well spent?
Well, I mean that's the thing. Is like the. Well, I mean, what? I mean, when I bought the original Xbox One, it came with Kinect because you couldn't buy it without. Yeah.
Right.
Man, I remember when you turned to me and you were, "Hey, man, we played Ghost Recon Advanced Warfare," and I was like, "Yeah, how was that?" "Oh, yeah, you could take the gun apart with Kinect." I was like,
"Did it once."
That's it.
I was like, "This is fucking stupid." Do you know what? That's interesting because, in a way, I wouldn't classify that as a Kinect game. I'm talking about the ones where your primary use of the controller is you or whatever, that shit. That Steel Battalion. Mate, I loved it. You know me, I had the full controller.
Do with that?
I sold it in the end because I didn't have space for it. I know, and it is so much fun. That huge controller for the walker and everything.
Yeah.
And then I played that when they said there was a sequel coming out, and I was like, because I was ready to buy another big controller again, and they were like, "You're the controller," and using Kinect, and I was like, "All right, maybe." And you see the advert, and the dude's like putting it in gear and stuff.
Yeah.
It just didn't work. I tell you what did work.
That was 90 minutes of hate before I took that back.
The only good use I ever got out of the Kinect was the audio commands when I was playing Mass Effect. And I would shout out reload.
Yeah.
And I would, shout out like Liara, whatever ability it was, and it was just like awesome. I'm shouting at my teammates who are doing the things that I'm shouting.
I remember sitting in his bedroom, it's just like
Xbox
off, and it's just boom. He's like, "Stop it!" I'm like, "This is great. I love it."
It's like every time when you start with your mate, and every time they die to an embarrassing headshot, and you're like, "Xbox, record that." Like, "No, I don't want to record that."
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck Kinect.
Oh yeah,
hell yeah, fuck
Kinect. I mean, Nintendo did it so much better. I have to bring this up, and I'm probably going to get a lot of hate in the comment section. Anything on the Dreamcast, honourable mentions. That was some shit.
Did you have a Dreamcast? Did you play any of the games on the Dreamcast?
You know what?
I don't think
I did. Because I'm going to tell you some back history, some backstory for you now, boys. Before I met you guys, I did have other friends, and they all had fucking Dreamcasts.
Right.
They all had Dreamcasts. And I
don't think I've ever seen one in real life.
Wow.
I couldn't afford to get one, because I came from a poor family. But all my friends got together because the Dreamcast was sold as an online computer. You could get together and you'd be able to play games together.
It was.
So like 4 of my friends from school all
no one had internet.
Nobody had internet. Everybody got a Dreamcast. Code Veronica came out on it, which I tried to play. And just maybe it was the controls for the Dreamcast that made it horrible for me. Maybe it's the way it's just because at the same time I think I was playing Resident Evil Nemesis,
right?
And absolutely loved that. But I was a PlayStation fanboy, You know, they had Choo Choo Rocket on there. I can't even explain that game to you. It's about some mice trying to use a rocket to get away from a cat.
Sounds like you did all right.
You know,
sounds like the premise.
There was Crazy Taxi, which, you know, Crazy Taxi is not a bad game.
Probably their biggest.
Yeah, the most recognisable.
The most pointless game ever. Drive around really fast, picking up people. You can't look at any of the graphics in the background.
And how many times did you do it in Grand Theft Auto?
Yeah.
Man,
be honest.
Man, I'd rather do it in Grand Theft Auto because at least Grand Theft Auto had other things to go to. Crazy Taxi just had other levels, which I never got to because it was so fucking hard doing the first ones. Yeah. They had Shenmue, which... oh, yes! Yes, here we go. I know there's a lot of love for Shenmue, and I've tried to play Shenmue, but seriously, if I want to go to work... I'll go to fucking work.
Yeah, right.
I'm not going to go to work and then try to find out who killed my dad. I'll just play Grand Theft Auto. You know, just drive around and kill everybody. I've just seen in the comment, Jet Grind Radio. You know,
Jet Set Radio. That was
Jet
the
Set
dance,
Radio.
You know,
rollerblading around with graffiti.
Yeah.
There was that fighter game, Power Stone. That was no Tekken. I mean, you list any Dreamcast game for me, and like I said, I just look at
and you just insta-hate.
I'm just like, it's not.
Dreamcast was a fantastic console. It was, by and large, better than the PlayStation.
We should get it out, Gary.
It just didn't have. Didn't have the support from all the game developers. And it was ditched.
No. From the list I've just given you,
Royal Rumble was.
It had a massive list, but it just didn't, you know.
I think you played some bad games, Ian, and it just gave you a bad experience.
No, I think I played some better consoles and played some better games. I mean, look at what Dreamcast was going up against: PlayStation 2, Nintendo 64 were still on the go.
Yeah, what? So what?
PC was.
What, Dreamcast? You're talking PlayStation 1 and 64 era?
Yes,
right? Around there. Yeah.
The Dreamcast was the most powerful console of all of them.
It was.
And Sega's last console, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
Too much power.
Nintendo with the Nintendo 64, that just owned it. I mean, talk about best games. I mean, Conker's Bad Fur Day. I can't tell you how much fun I had
that's
with
in
that
my
game.
honorable mentions. Conker's
You know, going
up
up against PlayStation. PlayStation were already working on the PlayStation 2, and
you
know, come on, Gary, fucking Time Splitters.
Time Splitters is great.
If Dreamcast had Time Splitters.
Yeah,
it may have.
They weren't going to do it though.
Gary, hit. Go on. Hit
okay, my number 5
worst,
worst game of all time. Now, the way I chose my list was that these were all games that I had played pretty much to completion. Now, a lot of the games that I removed from the list were games that I played and went, "This is shit. Stop playing." Or, you know, I've not put games on here that I've looked at and just gone, "I'm not even going to play it."
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm a pretty good. You know, when it comes to what games I'm going to buy, I know what I like, and I'm not going to go out of my way to buy games that I think are awful.
He knows what he likes, people. He knows what he likes.
So, you know, that's how I put my list together. And so my number 5 is Star Wars Battlefront 2 from last year. Yeah, the most recent one. Okay. And, you know, I played the game to its completion, and I've put in over 100 hours into the multiplayer.
Yeah.
But it still doesn't, you know, it still sickens me what EA get away with, you know, when it comes to loot boxes, when it comes to the, you know, the way they make and release their games, and they shouldn't be able to get away with it. It's almost fucking criminal. And so
I mean, wasn't it deemed almost as criminal?
Well, I think in Belgium it is.
Yeah,
you know?
It's gambling essentially.
Yes.
And so how they gutted the game of its content and piecemealed it to you. I mean, they're still releasing content for it.
You were trying
and all of
hard
this
to
content,
people buying it though, dude.
Is what should have been there day one. Yeah, that's a full game. Then you add all the extra stuff, not make a full game 2 years later.
The thing is, they didn't have anything to go with it. I mean,
no, they didn't.
It's Battlefront.
And they wanted £100 on release.
Every time
I saw
stuff. Yeah, every time I saw a trailer for Battlefront, I'm like, what is it? It's just massive multiplayer. And it's multiplayer that's only really quickly over in 5 minutes, depending on how.
Well, most of the matches can last 20 minutes.
You know, we played a couple of the matches, and they were pretty exciting. But I never thought it was a sustainable game. You know. And having to buy all those loot crates.
It is, because it's like the only Star Wars game to be released in the last 5 years. So if you're a Star Wars fan and you're a Battlefield fan,
go play Knights of the Old Republic.
Well,
yeah, right.
Well, yeah, Knights of the Republic is a far superior game, but that's a story-driven game.
Yeah. Well, because the only other choice you've got is spending a lot of money.
Yes, a lot of money, and so that's why Star Wars is up there. You know, it's a game that I played and still do play. It's multiplayer. Just wish it was better.
My number 5 worst game, Treasure Island Dizzy. or any of the fucking Dizzy games.
You are wrong on so many levels, Ian. Dizzy is
that adorable little egg.
Dizzy is the icon of the Spectrum era, of the Commodore 64.
Oh well,
of
let
the
me just put my notepad down in shock.
His icon's on the Spectrum.
Icons on the Spectrum. Man, what the. Right, okay, so come on then, Mr. History Giver.
Dizzy Egg
Give
had
me the fucking back
fantastic
history
graphics
of
for the
Dizzy.
time. It had great music. It was very simplistic gameplay that
Simplistic,
forced you
yes,
to
we'll
use
give you.
your intelligence. You know,
I was
People
a
are
fucking.
so mad at you right now.
I was a fucking egg with fucking boxing gloves, walking around a fucking island trying to pick up keys to open doors to go. What the fuck was I doing? What was I looking for? What was the back history for this?
you were talking about an egg with arms and legs.
Oh my god! Yeah, but
it's a cartoon character.
At the same time, you know, you're looking at the type of games that you're bringing out. You got all your different army games. I mean, I had Harrier Attack at the same time on the Amstrad because I played Treasure Island on the Amstrad. I had Harrier Attack, which was just a jet. It takes off. You bomb the shit out of some buildings. You make some points. You know, like you said, high score. I had Howard the Duck. That was hard as fuck. Now that was not graphically great to look at, but I knew what I was trying to do. Compared to Treasure Island Dizzy with this fucking egg stood there like this, looking at me.
Well, at least he's animated. Most characters from that era are not even animated.
And I'm like, I waited, what, 6 minutes, maybe an eternity for this? And what's the game telling me? What am I I'm going to start wandering around. And I start doing the backflip, you know, and I get to the certain where I had, sorry man, just no.
Dizzy is the. As soon as I think of the
I
retro
don't know
gaming,
game.
it's
I don't
Dizzy.
think I've ever played one.
Straight
I
away.
know it,
No.
but I don't know
How many of
ever
them
played.
did you complete?
About 8 of them.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
No wonder you are the way you are.
Love Dizzy. Love Dizzy.
No, man.
Amazing.
No. Sorry, maybe it's also because I had Treasure Island Dizzy and 3 other games, you know, and you're playing through them, and I'm looking at Dizzy and I'm like, what the fuck are we doing here, Egg? And
I know what we're doing next game on Friday.
Bring it, fucking bring
Now
it.
I
I
know.
know where to jump him up into some water and drown the little bastard.
Rant time, clearly. isn't it?
Number 5.
Terminator Salvation.
Oh, that's a bad game.
Yeah, that's a bad game.
It's not
Finish
Treasure
that
Island
one.
Dizzy.
Do you know what's bad about
So
it?
right.
Now, Gary will back me up on this one because, like I said, I don't play my Xbox as much anymore. Not as much as my freaking kid does, but I was once quite the achievement whore.
Oh yes,
Such
yeah.
as So You Sell.
Yeah.
So this is a game that came out at a time where if you dropped a whisper that a game was an easy 1,000 points, that game's getting either bought or rented or whatever.
Rented. Yeah.
Yeah, but
And,
also it's a movie tie-in
so-
game, which is a massive
No,
warning sign.
well, yeah, you're right, but no, but this is what I mean. Is what I'm saying is, I don't think if that game came out now, it would harm as many people as it did back in the day, because I don't think as many people would play it. But back
No,
then,
they wouldn't release it.
we joked around saying if I was going to release a game that I wanted to sell a shit ton of copies of right now, it could be the easiest game in the world, but I'd put it out, make it very well known that, dude, you'll score 1,000 points on this game in the first 5 minutes, and everyone will fucking buy it.
Yeah.
And then that game Avatar did it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we all went out and rented it.
Yes,
So,
yeah. Played it for 30 seconds.
Terminator
Right, so back in the box,
Salvation,
gone. But
fucking
yeah,
cover-based
Terminator Salvation.
shooter.
Yeah, I mean, you
And it
could
was a
argue
bad
it had
cover-based
potential
shooter.
because what it was good at the time, cover-based shooters. But like you said, it was a fucking bad one.
Yeah, because
And we played it on the hardest setting immediately because that was where you wanted the achievements, and so we had to sit through the game at its highest difficulty. I mean, we did this to ourselves, granted.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, we didn't have to fucking do it.
one of
but,
those achievements.
Oh mate, it was just like you said, just bad example of the genre of cover-based shooters. Incredibly high difficulty rating, or I thought so at the time.
Sure.
On its hardest
Did you
setting.
1,000 point it though?
Yeah.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I helped Tom complete
I mentioned
his.
earlier I'm an asshole.
Yeah, I mean, it
Fucking
was
sat there and did it, dude.
What was bad though was you slid up the cover and then you just made your way around the enemy and just fucking flanked
Oh,
them.
and it was the same battle over
Yeah,
and
over
over
and over again.
Cover to cover, and you get the same situation.
Yeah.
You know, depending on level. Oh, and there was one between the set piece between the last levels when you're in that car on the gun. With all of Skynet's hunter killers just chasing you in broad daylight.
You needed to be shooting where they were going to be coming onto
Oh,
screen
actually,
from.
yeah, you could, because if they hit you once,
Just
you were
like
fucked.
the
So
bit
you
from
had to
Terminator 2
know-
Arcade.
Exactly, it is, yeah.
Yeah.
And you just had to know where they were going to be, and you had to put a bullet there before you were searching for the next one, because if that thing just brush up against you light,
Yeah,
you're
explode.
dead.
Yeah, repeat the level
Repeat it.
again.
Repeat
Yeah,
it.
it was, so yes, that.
Yeah.
Gary, over to you, sir.
My number 4 is going to be Kane and Lynch Dead Men from 2007.
I hate Kane and Lynch. I always hate
I
Kane and Lynch.
the reason why it's made it onto my list was because I really wanted to like it, and I really wanted this to be a franchise that I could get behind. You're taking
like Army of
two shithead characters that you really should despise, and you should try to like them. I like the fact that they tried to do something which I've only ever seen done in Dead Space 3, which is where you have two characters, both got, they're both on the same job, but one of them is slightly psychotic.
Yeah.
And there is a level where you are, where you're robbing a bank, I think it is, and one of the characters sees police officers coming at you, and you're playing that character, you start shooting them.
Yeah.
The other character's like, what the fuck are you doing? You're shooting civilians that have surrendered.
Yeah.
And it's like, and that's because the both of you are seeing something different.
I think it came
Trevor
in at the right
and fucking
time.
Michael from...
Well,
Yes,
it is.
yes,
Yeah.
it is,
Because,
absolutely.
But I think it came in. It came at a time when we were waiting for the Grand Theft Auto 4
Yeah,
to come down.
we
So
were.
it was like it's like Saints Row hit it big because they were like, whilst you're waiting for GTA, here's your crime-based sandbox game, and it was like, even though Kane and Lynch wasn't quite sandbox, it was a third-person shooter. So it was ticking boxes that everyone was fucking desperately waiting for. Which is why
I wanted an 18-rated game. I wanted to see something more mature.
Was Dead Men the first one?
Yes. Yeah.
Was that the one with the giant fucking dumper truck that comes out on the build and you have to shoot the guy in the
window, but you have to come around the side of it.
The window's like this big, so you have to run around this.
Rinse and repeat certain segments of that game over and over and over again. But they dropped the ball. The second one was even worse. But I completed both of them, and at the end of both games, I was just like, what could have been? What could have been?
Why did you sit through that?
You imagine I'd be almost interested to see a reboot now.
Yes, yeah.
Just because the idea is good.
No, Kane Lynch is dead. So like I said, it came out at the same time, and Army of Two came out at the same time with it. And you were telling me a couple of days ago how you and Gareth sat through Army of Two.
I think it was the sequel that we went through on
hated
its hardest
so
setting because
much.
we were achievement idiots, and just it was just we didn't talk to each other for a week because both of us kept dying at one point. And it got to the point, and we're never like this, but we were like, dude, just stop getting fucking shot for 5 minutes like this with each other, and it was like, we finished it, and it was like, I won't be talking to you for several weeks.
Yeah. They broke up for a
and
while.
we're best friends.
It's like, that game.
Terrible.
My number 4 is Turtles on the Nintendo. Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles on the Nintendo. Fuck
was this
that
the beat 'em up?
No,
it's a side-scrolling beat 'em up.
No, this is the motherfucking top-down one that you start. And then you walk into you can either walk into the sewers or wander around the fucking streets and get hit by a fucking truck and die and be like, what the fuck is going on?
Like Frogger.
And then you walk into the sewers and every single enemy that has ever been in a fucking Turtles game is in that fucking sewer, and it's the first sewer in the game, and you're like, what the fuck?
There's little robot crab things.
I tried. I really tried. Like I said at the start of this theme, people made these games.
Oh yeah.
Made these games. Oh, I'm going to release this Teen Turtles game for kids. But let's make it exciting and stick every fucking thing in it. I hate watching...
The licensing thing, dude.
I hate watching long plays nowadays. Watching long plays of people play old games that I could never get past, and they just go through without speed run in 2 minutes.
I love watching those.
I'm like, fuck you!
One of the games I put on my top 10, I watched a speed through of that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you which one it is when we get there, and it was like... The speed run was like 12 minutes. It was like, that was 6 months of my life.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm so shit at I'm so terrible at games.
I tried so hard with Turtles, and I played the Turtles in the arcade. You had that big massive arcade Turtles game with the four Turtles figures, and you could play as each one. And it was a side-scrolling beat 'em up, and it was beautiful to look at. It was like watching the cartoon series. I loved the cartoon series. I had all the fucking toys and shit.
That is all you wanted, wasn't it? You wanted it to replicate.
And then I had the Nintendo
like, that's
game.
why South Park is so good, because basically you just want to play the show.
Right,
and that's like,
South Park game is amazing.
That's what you wanted out of all those back then. Obviously we're getting nowhere near it.
Turtles, I mean, the furthest I got was the dam. I managed to get to the dam, which is the second level. And when I fell into the water and had to swim past all the electrical wires.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a little family memory now. I remember swearing so badly at the game when I game over, and my mum came in and fucking gave me shit and told me to get outside and stop playing the game. That was how badly the... Like, motherfucker!
It's like he was 5.
Real rage, yeah.
You know.
Oh, games do that.
Yeah, it was a tough game.
totes.
Yeah.
Actually, mine probably follows in the same vein because my number 4 is Rise of the Robots.
Is that Terminator? No, that's a
Mega
Drive. Yeah.
Mega Drive beat 'em
Rise of
up.
the Robots, where you played this. Player
Sleek
1 was just this
thing.
sleek.
I remember
fucking
it looked
T1000
really
looking
nice
thing.
graphically.
Oh,
didn't
looked
it?
really nice.
It was what's it called? Motion captured at the
FMV
time, like same,
kind of,
same as Mortal Kombat was in the
Yeah.
day, you know. So player 1, you basically had to fight like about 6 other much more interesting looking robots, and the only way to play said robots was to play it 2-player, and you had to be player 2. So the only time where being player 2 paid to your fucking advantage.
Yeah.
It was clunky. It was slow. It was all the bad things that make a beat 'em up bad.
Yeah.
You know, it's on your fucking list. Tick it off.
Slow.
Rise of the Robots.
We might have to have another look at that because I remember.
Controls. We should do a Gaming Friday on it,
On
but
that
it's
one, yeah.
fucking shit.
I know. It'd be a 5-minute video.
I played on the Super Nintendo.
What, Rise of the Robots? Yeah.
I remember. I think I remember seeing the advert on Games Master. They were not Games Master. Fucking was it Games Master? The TV show? Yeah. They were planning on. They were planning on. You know, saying, "Oh, this new game's planning on coming out." And then when it came out, it was so shit. Nobody talked about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucked. So that was my number 4.
So my number 3 is Duke Nukem Forever.
Oh man, this is one of the greatest games ever made.
My number 3 is Duke Nukem Forever.
Awesome. Yeah.
Dukes.
My number 3 is not Duke Nukem.
Oh, that's on your best, right? Yeah, Duke Nukem Forever was such a disappointment, such a colossal clusterfuck of game mechanics, poor design, unfinished, regurgitated garbage.
15 years.
I played it to its completion because John St. John, because Duke Nukem.
Because it was Duke Nukem. Yeah, and I got the Balls of Steel Special Edition. I've got 2.
You got
actually.
2. I was going to say.
I've got one for the PlayStation and one for the Xbox because somebody got the PlayStation one and went, here, take it away from me, and I was like, sweet. You know, I've got it signed actually by John St. John. I got all my Duke Nukem shit signed, but. I mean, any Duke Nukem fan will tell you the best Duke Nukem game is Duke Nukem 3D.
No, sure, yeah.
You know, because Duke Nukem Forever, we wanted it to be good.
It just never could be.
It could never be. It was always a step behind. You know, it was going to be this, and then Half-Life came out. It was going to be something else, and then Halo came out.
Dude, to be fair, I think
15 years?
There's probably worse games out there when it comes to, you're exactly right, when it comes to like, you know, actual gameplay, graphically it weren't too bad or anything like that. You know, money was fucking spent on it and stuff.
Yeah.
But
I fucking whooped ass on multiplayer
15 years we did it to ourselves. 15 years of expectations.
Yeah.
Just, it wasn't, I mean, I'm trying to think what was out around the same time, but yeah, certainly, like you said, Halo was in full
swing. Gears was in full swing. I mean,
I think that was the other thing as well, dude. I can say for sure that I was a massive, like, you know, Gears fan. Obviously, deep into, like, you know, Gears territory.
Yeah.
When that came out. So if it was going to be a first-person shooter, it needed to
but
be good.
We're talking about a game that within the first 5 minutes of you starting, you can pick up some shit from a toilet and write something on the wall if you're really well versed in the
I got to admit that the whiteboard bit.
Yeah.
When you see the way some of them did them online, where they were like doing portraits, I was like, that was more impressive than the rest of the game.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, the bosses were fucking stupid as shit, but it was bad.
So yeah, it's just truly disappointing for me. So that's why it's my number 3 spot.
Yeah.
Bad Dudes versus Dragon Ninja on the Nintendo. Not only is this a song that you cannot listen to nowadays. No, it's Bad Dudes versus Shinobi versus Dragon Ninja.
You went for a Lost Prophet.
Lost Prophet. Yeah.
Back away now.
Bad Dudes versus Dragon Ninja on the Nintendo. I played Streets of Rage on my friend's Mega Drive, and I was just like, oh my god, this game's great, but I had a Nintendo, and ended up getting Bad Dudes, which is about 2 guys who have to fight through the streets against gangs, you know, and save the president. You get 2 lives at the start. 2 continues. Every enemy runs on fucking screen at you, fights you, throws everything at you. The controls are clunky. I mean, I'm coming off the back of trying to play Turtles as well. You know,
you had a traumatic.
So you're already swearing.
I am in a bad mood. I need a game to fucking work, and Bad Dudes was not working. I mean, it took me maybe a year, maybe 2, for me to realize that if I pressed the 2 buttons together, I did this spinning kick, and I could kick more enemies in the head. And it was like the greatest moment of one of my childhood gaming experiences. Was like, holy fucking shit, I can do that! Oh, fucking doing it all over the place, and then getting to the bosses, and it's, you know, that time in your childhood life when you realize that there's a certain point that the boss is invincible.
Yeah.
You know, when you hit him, you can't keep hitting him because he's going to be invincible and he's going to whack you, one hit you.
Oh no, he's flashing, dude. Back up. He's flashing.
Yeah, Bad Dudes was one of those times, but it was a tough time because you had to learn the pattern.
Yeah.
You know, and getting past these bosses. I never completed the game. I recently got an arcade on my classic Xbox. And I played through the arcade version, which is so much easier when you got 99 continues.
And a decent pad.
Yeah, and a decent pad. And then I went on to Nintendo.
Turns out what we needed back in the day was analog. That's really what we needed.
We needed shit to work. We needed infinite continues. That's why I hate games nowadays. Everyone's just...
So easy.
Just keep going. There you go, just keep going. But yeah, Bad Dudes versus Dragon Ninja.
Nice. Well, I mean, my
number 3 was
Duke.
Duke.
So
Yeah.
I'll do my number 2 if you want them. Which
sure.
I can't remember which one.
Okay, yeah.
Number 2, actually. Sorry.
We can slay on Duke Nukem again.
We can just go for it. Oh yeah, of course. My number 2, because I went between this one and my number 1. My number 2 is Superman on the N64.
I never played it.
Being a big fan of DC Comics and the Man of Steel, obviously, it was a kick in the dick.
Okay, I've never known anyone who actually ever played it.
I played it.
It
you
was
just
one
fly
of those,
around into the rings.
That is literally
the city is so bad to look at.
The bit that used to drive me crazy is most of the times between they'll give you a task to do, but it's like it would be a ridiculous time limit, and the text would flash up, and it's like you had to be a speed reader to get through that shit to understand what your task was supposed to be. So it was just trial and error.
Yeah.
Or finally getting the answers out of a Games Master magazine or some shit.
Right.
Yeah.
And the flying mechanic was clunky, and you had to just fly through all these rings, and it was like. It was like the most boring Superman game. It was the Superman Returns movies to the game, where it's like, this is so fucking dull. I can't.
I was just thinking, did you ever play Superman Returns on the Xbox?
Oh no, because I'm not stupid.
Oh man, that was actually pretty good. I mean,
No,
you
I didn't.
You could double tap and go into supersonic speed and fly around as Superman, and all it made me feel was, man, this is taking me back to Superman 64, and I'd keep turning it off.
Yeah.
Because I'm
maybe that's why I
traumatic nightmares, you know.
Yeah, I mean that's gone down as one of the most atrocious video games of all time.
It's horrible
period
to look at.
as well.
Yeah.
So,
it's fucking terrible to look at. Well, okay, coming back to me with my number 2, I suppose.
Go for it.
Bionic Commando. Have you ever played Bionic Commando?
There's a lot of Bionic Commandos.
There's a lot of Bionic Commandos.
I say recently.
Yeah,
last 10 years.
I played Bionic Commando on the Amstrad. So obviously I'm coming off the back of fucking Treasure Island Dizzy and Harry Attack. And I also had Bionic Commando on the Nintendo because I thought it'd be better. It's not. You play this little commando soldier with a little metallic claw and a gun, and as soon as you fucking start the game, you drop in the middle of this jungle, and it's like, here's a time limit, find the entrance.
What console was this on that you were talking about?
I played
this version.
I played it on the Amstrad and the NES.
See, now all of his top 5 are from his childhood. He always had a very unhappy childhood with his gaming.
No, because when I got to first
it's
person,
like it was like when he got the X or the original, he's like, I'm so happy. Life changed for me.
When I got when I got the first person shooters, Zero Tolerance on the Mega Drive. I'll talk about that. But I'm talking, with games like Bionic Commando. They just dropped you in. You had the little synopsis you might read in a magazine or in the tape or with the game where it says, you're a soldier, you've got this metallic claw and a gun, you have to break into the base, and you're like, fucking hell yeah. On the Nintendo I also had Metal Gear, which was fucking hard as fuck.
Oh yeah, the original was on the NES.
But I had it and I knew what I had to do because I had to break into this base. Bionic Commando, I'm like, okay, drop in, claw up into the tree, I'm dead. Where the fuck did that guy come from? Okay, drop down, shoot that guy, claw up, shot by another guy. How the fuck am I being attacked by everybody? 2 lives, dead, game over, restart. And especially on the Amstrad where you'd have to reload the tape.
Yeah.
To get
you
it
to
to
rewind
go
it
a lot.
So I died a lot. I managed in the Nintendo version. I managed to get to the entrance of the base with a couple of seconds to spare, and then it ran out of time, and it took me to the back of the start of the jungle. And I was like,
despair.
Fuck you, game. Fuck you.
And then my mother came in. And
she's like, you play Bionic Commando again? I fucking told you, boy.
Kids there eating the tape out of the tape itself.
Oh man, it's the blow on that shit as well when dust was in it.
So my number 2 is Aliens Colonial Marines from 2013.
75 quid.
75 quid I spent on that game, only for it to cost a £5 2 days later.
Ooh,
People were trying to give it away.
They were giving it away.
Game stores were closing down. They were like, shit, we've ordered too many copies of Aliens.
That was the fastest kick in the ass ever, wasn't it?
That was, yeah.
When we heard the announcement and we saw the trailer, it was like, oh my god, this game's gonna be amazing. Gary's like, I'm pre-ordering it. I'm like, okay, I'm giving you the cash. How much is it? 75 quid. Fucking awesome. What do we get? We get this fucking this power suit fucking model. We get all this special shit. We get the special edition. It's like awesome. That'll go nice next to my Duke Nukem Forever Balls of Steel special edition.
Is it like a shelf of regret that you got?
No regrets, no surrender. Everything makes you the person you are, and oh my god,
including your mistakes.
Yes,
yes, yeah. Which I keep on a shelf.
But we got Colonial Marines, and I remember I had to go to work. Everyone else got it in the morning. You were playing it, and I was hearing from text messages like our friend John was texting me going, "Man, this game's shit."
Yeah.
I'm like, what? He's like, graphics look like they're on a PS2. I'm like, no, man.
You text me because I said I'm not getting fooled by another fucking Alien game again. I'll wait. And you were just texting me like, dude, we've made huge mistakes. Don't do it. And I was like, right on. I was like, but it's so cheap now according to the internet.
We got the season. We even paid for the season pass as well. Oh, yeah. So when the DLC came out, and we had the LV-426 map.
Yeah.
And
it was all set there, wasn't it? But it was literally the Horde mode.
Do you think it's still raining there, Guy?
I bet it's still raining on LV-426. Yeah.
Always raining. But we battled for it and stand in that little control room.
Game had terrible characterization, terrible dialogue, terrible sets, terrible programming, terrible music. It was buggy. It was incomplete.
O'Neill's a fucking dick, mate. O'Neill's the worst character.
I was going to say, is that the main character? Because I've still never played it.
When he gets a smart gun and just starts firing and you get caught by him and put down and he won't help you up, you're like, it's fucking Bad Dudes vs Dragon Ninja all over again.
Yeah, it's, and for me, Aliens Colonial Marines is the final giant fuck you anal rapage that I will ever receive from Gearbox Studios again. Randy Pitchford can suck cocks in hell because I will never touch another game that asshole has had his fingers in ever again. So yeah, I'm a little bit sore.
Man.
My God, what's going to be his number one?
Man, shit, no. So you're not getting Borderlands free?
Fuck no, I'm not. I don't care if people buy me that game. That can burn in hell as well. Because the money for Aliens Colonial Marines was siphoned away to Borderlands 2. And so Randy Pitchford was also, he also got caught having porn on his USB disc that he left at medieval times. And there was some questionable imagery on those discs as well.
No.
Fuck that guy.
Imagine a
lying piece of shit.
Right, so
I'm sorry, I'll calm down now.
Yeah, I was going to say,
where's my beer?
Chauffeurs, if you want to see a really good night, okay, Gary needs to play a game by Gearbox.
Randy
with an Adam Sandler film in the background.
With an Adam Sandler film in the background.
I couldn't cope. It's my own personal hell.
No.
So number ones, is it?
I guess so. I'll go
coming
to
back
number
from
one
you.
straight
Coming
away.
back from you, yeah.
Is Vampire Reign from 2007. Now it surpasses Aliens Colonial Marines because I couldn't even finish Vampire Reign despite how hard I tried.
Is this 360?
This was the 360.
I think I passed the first level.
I got the game the day it came out. I was like, great! It's a tactical stealth vampire game. It's like there's not many adult games on the 360. It's got I love vampires.
Third person.
It's a third-person stealth action game.
Tenchu style.
Tenchu style in a way, yes.
Buffy the Vampire style.
But it was so horrid. Like the controls were asinine. Like the you had no health bar really. If you were spotted by a single enemy, it was fucking game over. Repeat the last hour you've just played again and again and again and again, and it was infuriating. But I was like, I've paid so much money for this game. Like I'm going to get my money's worth, and I wish I had just taken the disc out and snapped it and thrown it away and never even thought about it ever again. One of the worst games in the universe. Vampire Reign. I'm done. I don't even want to think about it anymore.
I think I played the first level.
I begged you, Ian, to take the controller and show me what I'm doing wrong. I'm like, this game.
And I begged you to choke me with it. So I didn't have to go through this anymore.
I think I played it and I was like, no, this game's really bad. The camera doesn't work. I can't move. You know, I don't know how to. It was just, it was bad. My number one is TNA Impact on the Xbox 360. I have a signed copy of TNA Impact, which I got off of Andy. I got it signed by another wrestler who's not in wrestling anymore.
Who signed it?
Bram. Is it Bram? Yeah, Bram from and James Storm.
When that happened?
Right, same time I met James Johnson John.
Oh, right on. When they were down. Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Come sign it. Yeah. It's a wrestling
Were they
game.
like, what the fuck is this piece of shit?
Yeah, well,
and you were like, right?
They didn't even look. They were like, I want to go home. I'm like, yeah, cheers. You know, John St. John shouting at me like, Iain, come over here and talk to me. I'm like, I want to, but this... I'm in a line, John. This is an English thing. And then he comes over and starts talking to me.
Yeah, we invented this.
Seriously, when John St. John came walking over to me with Gary, talking to me like we've been best friends forever, I thought I could fucking just died right then. And I would have just been like, yeah, James Storm, fuck you. But I was getting my game signed and I was looking forward to actually trying to play it because you told me how great the game was.
Yeah, I did set you up.
You completed it.
Yeah.
Like most wrestling games...
It was a lie. I was lying
I've played a lot of wrestling games. We played a lot of wrestling games. I played a lot on the Nintendo, on the Mega Drive, on the fucking Saturn, the fucking Dreamcast, the fucking 64. Any fucking console that had a wrestling game, I fucking played. And it's always the fucking same. They have a stamina bar, you wear them down, you put them in a fucking pin maneuver or submission, and it takes them out. Not TNA Impact. TNA Impact goes, we're just going to beat the shit out of you. So you have to fucking try and take them outside and really wear their stamina bar down. But the computer goes, that doesn't affect me. And you're like, well, what am I supposed to do? And you just take an ass whooping.
I honestly couldn't have told you it was good. If I did, I was ribbing you because I fucking hate it. Because I hated that game.
No, actually.
And it was another one I played through just for the achievement points. And I remember the last, in the storyline fight in Jeff Jarrett for the title, is the easiest way I could figure to beat him was to throw the fucker outside and just constantly egg lay DDTs on him.
I tried
because the concrete was doing more damage,
yeah.
and then roll him back in and hopefully get a pin. And I mean, if you watch I know a DDT is a dead transition move now; it's not a finisher anymore. But I guarantee, if in a match you watch someone DDT someone 40 times on the concrete, and they kicked out, you'd be like, I think we're stretching over here, boys.
John Cena's done it a couple of times.
Yeah, but no one saw him do it.
Yeah,
and but the that it was a fucking awful, terrible control system. It was that old school kind of. Like the old ECW and Attitude games where it was a literal button combination.
Yeah.
SmackDown games
forward,
go up
down,
and down, but at least their controls are generally quite
Yeah,
intuitive and quite comfortable to use. This was fucking bad.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be arcadey fun, but it was not arcadey fun.
No.
It was not. I mean, yeah, no, it sucked.
Your number one?
Following on sort of from Gary's, my number one worst game, and I think a lot for like I was really like, this is going to be the one that's going to be good. This is similar to the Duke Nukem thing. We hadn't waited as long, but it's a franchise we all love. Alien vs Predator on the 360.
It's the third in the AVP franchise, yeah.
Just like that.
No. I also think you're wrong as well.
I know you like.
Yeah,
I fucking hated that game. I thought it was.
It was paper rock scissors the game for a lot of people. It was like you go up to somebody for the melee.
Is it worse than Arkham Knight on the Xbox One?
Well, no, Arkham Knight.
There you got special edition.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed Arkham Knight.
And fucking crashed a lot of shit.
Yeah, dude, you got to drive the Batmobile through buildings, dude. I mean, like, it ain't on my top 10, but I enjoyed Arkham Knight. But no, I think maybe I blew it blew it up too much for myself, but I could not get on with that game at all. I thought, like you said, it is paper rock scissors the game.
Yeah,
running around as the alien, like where I was like, please, someone tell me what fucking angle I am at on this wall.
Oh, the alien was beautiful.
The alien was amazing.
So many people talk about how the alien was so difficult to control. When the icon was big, you jumped and you could land, and you would jump from section to section if you could line it all up.
See, I'll concede that maybe I didn't enjoy it because I wasn't great with the controls.
He couldn't do the Predator as well. I could leap around as a Predator with like
the
magic.
Easiest one, but almost to its detriment. Where again,
the Marine was fucking hard.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Well, the Marine was hard just for sort of like, I think if the Marine played into your wheelhouse of you being generally alright at first person shooters, I got on quite well with the Marine because I was like, well, it's just point and shoot in it. But like you said, oh, did you take a scratch? Oh, you dead.
Yeah,
like,
you had to block and time everything. It was crazy. It was a hard game.
I still enjoyed it. It was a game that I 1,000 pointed.
I 1,000 pointed too.
Yeah, it was tough.
I would probably say that if I played Colonial Marines, then maybe it would have been
wouldn't been so bad.
Based on my list.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that one broke me enough that I was like, no, fuck.
Man, seriously, the multiplayer on that.
Ian and I played that game until the multiplayer was dead. Until it was only me and Ian left playing the multiplayer, and it was searching for players.
Yeah,
it's like there's no one else in.
The funny thing is, like a year after we stopped playing it, I still had 2 achievements to get, which was to play with people on an open rank game. Nobody played open rank. And one day I went on there and there were 2 people on there and I played them.
There were ones like that.
I got my 1,000 points. I was like, holy fucking shit!
Yeah, it was like Halo. I think Halo 3 had that with a lot. There were so many random achievements where it was sort of like, these lobbies are closed. I can't fucking get into them. I can't play that game on that map because no one bought your stupid fucking upgrade bunch. Except this idiot because I wanted an achievement. Like, you know. Yeah, I know what you mean. So yeah, that's. I think is that all of our top 5?
That's our worst
do some good stuff.
Yeah, we get to do some good shit.
Well, we're running short on time, so we're gonna speed this one up just a little bit.
Oh, these are gonna be easy to fly through, man.
Top 5. So for my honourable mentions for top 5 is Final Fantasy VII, Silent Hill 1, Knights of the Old Republic, Halo 2, Left 4 Dead 2, Max Payne 1, and Tetris from 1984, the Game Boy. No, that Tetris. Specifically. Yes. Honourable mentions, Andy?
I got Tetris as well because it's almost a perfect game in a way.
It is, yeah.
Mass Effect 1 and 2.
Awesome, yeah.
You know, loved them both, to be honest. Fight Night Round 3.
Okay.
Oh, fucking what a great boxing game that was. Absolutely fantastic.
I've actually played that one as well, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't even play EA Sports games.
Yeah, no, me neither. Loved it. Bulletstorm.
Oh, great game.
Great game,
man, the Duke Nukem edition is coming to Switch soon. I'm buying it.
You just don't learn, do you?
No. And, oh shit, I've just told my wife as well. I didn't guess what again.
That's where that £50 disappeared to.
Hey, she's already like, oh, I'm sorry, how much did that special edition of the Colonial Marine cost?
Mate,
I remember you at the time saying £5.
Mate, I'm telling you, Bulletstorm's going to be at least 15 quid.
Yeah, right. No Mercy.
Best games, on the 64, mate. That's
like honourable mention.
Mate, that's my number 5.
Oh, okay.
Well, we'll get to that. Yeah.
Altered Beast.
Oh, hard as fuck.
Altered Beast, great.
Nottinghamshire.
Bruce Lee on the Sinclair ZX Spectrum. First game I ever completed. Loved it. Watched that on a speed playthrough last night. Actually, 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Halo 2, Skyrim, SmackDown 2 was my favourite of all the SmackDowns, and Arkham City as well.
Yeah.
Yes, Arkham City is gorgeous.
Somebody in the chat just mentioned Bioshock. Yeah, Bioshock, honourable mention for sure. Yes. The first one.
I do.
Yes.
Yeah. So my number 5, Resident Evil, the original from 1996.
It's not really good.
It's the Resident Evil I've played the most. The second one I think is my favourite.
Yeah.
But I think if I'm going to go best, the original game, it started for me. Survival horror gameplay. It's the game that I finished over and over again. I was umming and ahhing between the original and the remake because the remake I think is definitively
the original's got
the GameCube one, which did have an HD remaster as well.
Yeah. The original's got the cut sequences.
Today, the best Resident Evil they've ever released. Even though I love 2 the most.
Which one, sorry, did you say?
The HD remaster for the GameCube.
Yeah.
Which was recently released on the modern consoles.
Remember us coming home and finding him in your room, on your bed, in the dark, just playing Resident Evil.
Yeah,
you're like,
scared
Gary,
the shit out of me.
Gary, go downstairs. Get off this.
No, I can't.
He gets up with his dress like next to the curtains.
Resident Evil.
I was like, I haven't even played this game yet.
My number 5 is No Mercy on the Nintendo 64.
I played the shit
out of that. I want your 64 and I want that game.
No, we'll
so
set up a night actually.
We need to play it. It's simply the best wrestling game, simply because it's got this arcadey feel, and when you completely understood the controls and were able to professionally hold the Nintendo 64 joypad in a way.
Dude, it's like if you got good at the controls of that, and the controls were admittedly terrible, you make those fuckers dance. It was amazing.
We had, before we went out on a night out, we had at your old flat like a 4-way TLC ladder match in the ring. It was it was your 64, I think, but my copy of No Mercy. We'd been playing it, fucking loving the game, big wrestling fans. we had this, I can't remember if it was 45 minutes or an hour long match where we were putting ourselves...
Oh, everyone wanted to go out. It's like, we are not done.
We are putting ourselves on the ladders. We were dropping elbows. The game had body damage schematics, you know, so you were trying to get the other person to tap out, and I had to get everybody in like all red so I could get somebody in a submission and make them tap out. And then it was simply like, okay, that was good, turn it off and go. You know, it was...
Getting up for 11 o'clock.
Yeah, and then
oh yeah, people come back from going out and we're like, again?
Smackdown was out on the PlayStation, and that was all right, but it was no
We'd always go back to No Mercy. We'd play the shit out of all the Smackdowns.
Yes.
And then we'd always fall back to No Mercy. It was like, because we used to play so many, like, we'd get all 4 of us, or like, you know, 6 of us. Like, on a PlayStation where you needed to get a multi-player tap. We'd all share them around and stuff, and we'd all play like as many as we could. But
Royal Rumbles were the best.
Awesome.
Number 5, Andy?
Resident Evil 4.
Oh,
very good.
Yeah. I totally agree with you in the way of sort of like Resident Evil. When it's a good Resident Evil game, man, they're just all up there, to be honest. But
I wanted to love Resident Evil 4 more, but after Resident Evil 2, Leon became my favourite Resident Evil character. In Resident Evil 4, that is not Leon Kennedy.
It's a fucking
that is an imposter.
Yeah, very, very, very strange.
He's a wisecracking, one-line throw in.
But it works.
Yeah, but I think the gameplay was like it was the biggest shift in the franchise.
I agree.
It was the first time they actually. I know you had like Code Veronica and stuff with the first-person shooter and stuff, but this was the biggest change to the franchise.
It was. It set
Capcom
the benchmark
took a
for
real fucking
all games to come after.
Yeah, it's an absolute trendsetter.
The whole thing with Krauser.
Now.
The whole thing with Krauser is absolutely brilliant. I mean, I still want to know who the fucking merchant was, because he's.
You went as in for a fancy dress.
I did. I dressed up at the fancy dress party. Had all guns inside a coat.
It's like I opened the door and he literally goes, "Welcome, stranger." I'm like,
"What you buying?"
I'm like, "How long you been waiting to do that?" He's like, "About 30 minutes."
Waiting for me to turn up. Yeah. Now I remember I got ill one year and had to take a day off from work. And Linda's woke up. She's like, "What are you doing today?" I was like, "I didn't know." And she went to work, and I turned the Wii on and played Resident Evil 4 through on the hardest setting.
Crazy.
Yeah.
By the time she came home, I completed it and got that PGL laser, which one-shotted everything.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
So yeah, Resident
Evil 4, good choice. My number 4 is Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh yes.
Which has recently knocked off the original Red Dead Redemption from my top 5 video games of all time. Just because it was such a compelling story. Yeah. I openly wept twice whilst playing the game. Just tears.
That was just online with him.
Yeah. If you're playing with Ian online, you will cry for a totally different reason.
You gotta come back online and help me with the challenges.
I will come back to Red Dead Online when they release a fucking game worth playing, not a beta.
You know how hard it is to find muskrats?
You can shoot targets now. From what I saw today.
Don't care.
But masterpiece.
Masterpiece in writing, in gameplay, in graphics, in character. Building.
If a game makes me compelled to take my character to have a bath and eat a steak and drink 3 whiskeys because I feel he deserves it.
Yes,
that's some good storytelling.
Yes, hell yeah.
You know, because I did find myself going, Arthur, you deserve a break, mate. Plus, also, I'm convinced if I feed you right, maybe we'll get rid of this tuberculosis. Spoilers.
But tell me this: is there nothing better and hearing the click of your Schofield before you pull the trigger and blow somebody's head off?
Yeah, man, it's fucking awesome.
Very satisfying.
I think it was a couple of days ago actually. I was in a game online, and I pulled out my Schofield like I always fucking do.
Name your sex tape, boom.
And fucking went to shoot this guy in the head, and the gun sounded so differently. I was like, "What the fuck?" and realized that the condition had run all the way down. Right, I hadn't cleaned it in ages, and I tried to. I'm fighting these guys.
That's amazing.
I stopped online and
just. So I used to clean it because I'd noticed I'd see the power drop on the stand.
Yeah.
But I never got to the point where it was close to breaking, and I noticed that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, man.
That's like months on. And that's
I stopped in the middle of this online game and had to clean my gun. I didn't care that I was getting killed. I'm like, I don't care. I've got to clean my guns if I'm going to actually even stand out. Yeah. Red Dead Redemption, amazing. My number 4 is AVP on the arcade.
Very good.
Predator Streets of Rage game.
I'll let you have that one.
When I walked,
AVP game,
mate,
that was the nuts.
Yeah.
Predator on that, like.
Yeah. When I walked into the arcade and saw that game and heard the noise, that was it. I fucked the rest of the holiday. I think my mum.
All your pocket money and spending money. In that one machine.
It was in it was in the arcade of Minehead, and my mum gave me £10 for the day, and she's like, off you go, go find some fun. I went to the arcade, I stood there and I completed Alien vs Predator.
On £10.
Yeah.
You get all the 10p for games like
Yeah,
10p.
yeah.
I take my kid to our arcade now. It's
A
like
pound.
50 quid. I'm like, that was a good 15 minutes.
It was 30p.
Shit.
It was 30p, and it took me all the money to fucking do it. As soon as I did it, I put my name in at the top, and then I'm like,
oh, they got to turn it off at the end of the day.
yeah. I'm like, fuck. I had to walk to the guy. I'm like, do you have to turn it off? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, do you really have to? He's like, yeah. I'm like,
See, nowadays you get the phone and you'd be like, chip chip. Then take a picture, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
nowadays I've got my fucking Xbox arcade at home with the fucking Alien vs Predator game, and I'll play through and continue like a motherfucker.
Get it
Amazing.
done.
Yeah.
You love it, don't you?
Yeah. Number 4.
Gears of War 2.
Oh,
Very
beautiful game.
Uh,
What was his wife called?
So,
Maria.
why Gears 2 over from the franchise?
Do you know what? It's like,
Wingman.
yeah, because I can...
Unless the rest of your list is Gears
you know
games.
what? No. Yeah, it's like, well, I'll get there. No, it's not. This is the one that I put in the top 5 because, yeah, most of it was to do with the online and the Horde. We played so much of that. I got my Seriously 2.0 achievement by fucking...
Man, we level 100.
repeating stuff. We level 100 of it. I already had the Veteran of the Pendulum Wars achievement from the previous game. But that story was fantastic. I love it when a game stays true to its original game but makes vast improvements. I put Assassin's Creed 2 up there with that. Like, Assassin's Creed was a fun game but very repetitive, and Assassin's 2 went, here's way more stuff to do.
Right.
Gears of War 2 had that with bells on, but that online, dude. I mean, you know what you say about
We're
the thing with
riding a Brumac.
Brumac.
You're what? We're riding a Brumac.
That bit with Maria did make me weep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But 3 when
Oh,
spoiler,
yeah.
when Dom dies in 3.
Man.
I think I phoned
familiar
Sandbags
faces.
because I was like, what chapter are you on? He's like, 5. I'm like, so I can cry to you then. He's like, yeah, I know what happened. Like, you know,
Man,
it was so bad.
But 3 was a bad game.
No, I didn't mind 3, but I just think for all round, 2 was amazing.
2 was better.
The online was just brilliant. We regularly have teams of 5 of us on, all cooperating.
That's why I said Halo 2 in my honours.
I've got Halo
River
2 on the
was
list as
amazing,
well because again the online of it was so playable. It was such a vast improvement over the first one. The matchmaking was so much better, so much faster. Horde mode was just an absolute pleasure. Absolutely love Gears of War 2.
Sure.
And I think of all of them encompassing everything, it's the best
Still
one.
the best one.
Yeah,
right.
Story, online, and co-op, definitely.
So my number 3 is The Witcher 3 from 2015. It probably could be higher, even more on this list if I'd replayed it more.
Movie, right? With Superman's in it.
Henry Cavill's playing The Witcher. Yeah,
I'm kind
of
Netflix TV series.
Yeah, and I'm nervously excited about it.
Cool.
Because I love The Witcher. I've read the books. I played the games. I played The Witcher 2 a lot. Witcher 3, I got halfway through and I was having such a good time. I started the game all over again because I didn't want this to end. Yeah, it's that good.
It's fucking hard.
It's the one game that I keep going, when I get a month or a couple of weeks, I'm just going to download it and play it all over again from start to finish in as short amount of time as I can, because I love Geralt, I love Ciri, I love the world, I love the story. Obviously it will be Cyberpunk 20 number
77,
whatever it is that's coming out from the developers this year. But The Witcher 3, fantastic, phenomenal characters. It was truly a great send-off, and again, a benchmark for all open-world games to follow, because every side story mattered. Side stories actually came back around and linked into the main story, and in open-world RPGs, you never had that at all. Not to that standard or quality of writing. So, yeah, that's Witcher 3.
Fucking hard. My number 3 is Red Dead Redemption 2 and / GTA. Or GTA 5, or actually, just the fucking series, really.
It's funny because I took those
Rockstar
out of my thinking because I was like, well, they're kind of perfect games like GTA 5.
I remember when...
But it's interesting you say that you didn't call the whole series.
I remember when Grand Theft Auto came out on the PlayStation, it was fucking anarchy in the streets. People were like, you cannot be driving around just fucking killing people and doing stupid shit. I'm like, it's a fucking computer game. I've been doing that for fucking almost 15 years. And you're telling me now I can't do it? Fuck you. All
right.
And then GTA 1960 came out, which was like the first kind of add-on I ever understood, because it wasn't really the game, but it was GTA 2, and I'm like, oh, this is going well, but it's not. I don't see it continuing if it carries on like this top-down screen. Boom, GTA 3 on the
Changed
PlayStation
everything.
U2, and you're like, oh my god, this is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, one of the greatest game experience I've ever fucking done.
Loved it.
Up until, I mean, I did GTA 4, but I didn't want to do GTA 4 at first.
That's the black sheep of the
it
franchise
was Liberty
for me.
City
I
again.
don't know, London.
Liberty City is fucking Liberty City's boring. There's no planes. There's no fucking and that's the theme they've always kept with it. Then GTA 5, and that was it. I just went online.
Still going.
It's the most amazing game ever.
Still,
It's gone a bit
still
crazy, but they're
producing
still
new content
going.
for it. It's great.
And on top of that, like I said, Rockstar, they've done Bully.
Yeah.
You know,
Bully 2, maybe?
Bully 2. You know, Red Dead Redemption. They also did Red Dead Revolver.
Yeah, Red Dead Revolver.
That was like
Well,
the
first one on the Xbox.
Yeah.
That was called Revolver. Yeah.
Red Dead Revolver. You know, they've just done such good games. They seem to listen, but they also seem to know, hey, you know, we know what's going to work. Yeah,
definitely. No, good shout, man. Number 3, GoldenEye.
Oh, I hated that.
Really?
Yeah. I hated the N64. I hated the controller.
Get out, guys. Sorry, that's it. No.
I mean, like, you didn't like the Dreamcast. Right? I didn't like the N64.
I had reason to not like the Dreamcast.
Come on, dude. Fucking first, you know, not obviously the first person shoot by any means, but for that generation,
it's
first
the developers of Time Splitters.
Oh yeah, and Time Splitters 2 was amazing.
Free Radical, man.
Full player multiplayer.
Full player multiplayer. Before, you know, on split screen. Damn it, I was playing,
get the cardboard out.
Yeah, dude, I was playing split screen today with my kid on Plants vs Zombies, and she's like, "This is stupid." I'm like, "This is how we used to play it before the internet."
You know, yeah.
Like, I'll show you a LAN cable one day, you know. And,
this is 20.
What? Like,
fucking 20-meter long cable.
Know, yeah. But yeah, GoldenEye is fantastic. Great tie-in. Fucking better than the movie, frankly. Fantastic tie-in. The levels were super detailed. Massive amounts of replayability. You'd be going through trying to completing the challenges that you had to do to get GoldenEye status and you know. Unlock fucking perfect, you know, 007 level. And then, which again I'll give an honourable mention to, is the unofficial sequel, Perfect Dark.
Perfect Dark was amazing.
Sure, Perfect Dark Zero as well.
Incredible, and it was GoldenEye. That goes on the other fucking list.
Really?
Zero.
I like that one.
I enjoyed that, and I bought that day one.
Yeah,
you know.
We were waiting for Perfect Dark to be remade, and then it comes out as Zero, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? This isn't Perfect Dark. This isn't Perfect Dark. But we'd gone from the Nintendo 64. We'd done split screen 4-player with all the special weapons. The harkens back for the GoldenEye stuff. You know, it was.
I can still play it now and enjoy it. I think, you know.
It's difficult to. I've tried to play GoldenEye.
I know. I bought for the Wii. I bought the like anniversary sort of like new edition of it as well.
Oh, that was a great game.
Kind of updated it, and it was okay. But I know you enjoyed it more than me. But I think that you enjoyed it for the game, and I was like, I wanted it as a nostalgia trip, and it wasn't as good for me. So that was probably my fault.
Yeah, I also had time off at that time because I remember Dylan was born, so I was able to play the multiplayer, and I was like, "Ha, Nintendo don't do multiplayer." yeah, but it kind of works. Yeah.
So number 2.
Number 2, yeah, you're number 2.
Mass Effect from 2007.
The best one.
For me. It's it was a tough call because I love Mass Effect 2 and 3 equally. I love the franchise.
Yeah, but the first one.
I've played of all franchises, other than Resident Evil, Mass Effect is the one I've played through repeatedly. I do 1, 2, 3. Then I go back to 1 again, and then play 2, 3 again because I'm gonna play it as this type of character. I'm gonna play it as this type. I'm gonna make these choices. I want to see how it matters, how it changes. But I just love Commander Shepard. I love the universe that's created in the first Mass Effect game. Yeah. Never really played anything like it since Knights of the Old Republic.
A lot of time setting that game up to where you actually entered the game as it was intended from then on. There was a lot of stuff, but they managed to make it entertaining all the way through. You know when people complain about the snow level in Red Dead and stuff? Dude, we've already done this in Mass Effect, but they told the story so well that it was like it bumped along nicely. It's like fucking playing Guardians of the Galaxy 2 or something in a way, isn't it? You know?
Mass Effect, I felt like it was a game made for me. It gave me everything I ever wanted in a video game.
Yeah.
And
traveling to other planets, dropping, even though there was nothing there, just running around with the
character
you're playing
interaction.
like Battlestar the game, aren't you? It's
Yeah.
like, you're playing, all those different sci-fi shows that you love. You're basically sort of like
when they changed the probes in the second one, I was like, oh, fuck you. Game.
I didn't mind that, actually.
They sped things up, streamlined a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but it just took it away.
The second one was still great.
Yeah.
But I prefer the first one. I like driving the Mako around.
Yeah.
The Mako's great.
Yeah.
My number 2 is Doom.
Which one?
Well, I mean, on my list, I've got Doom, the original one I played on the PlayStation, which was Ultimate Doom, all the way up to Doom 2016. And in the middle of there as well, I'm just going to honourable mention fucking Duke Nukem 3D, because I remember when I got my PlayStation. Everybody at this time, they'd already got their PlayStations, and like I said, I didn't have a lot of money when I was growing up, so when I did get money to get a PlayStation, Doom was like there.
Yeah.
But I'd already been playing this great first-person shooter, Zero Tolerance, on the Mega Drive, which had a depth to it that Doom didn't even step to. But Doom had better graphics. Zero Tolerance, I could kick, I could burn, I could throw grenades, I could look up and look down, things like that. But then when I get to Doom, and I'm being able to play it link up as well with friends, I know other people were already playing on PC, but I didn't have a PC.
Sure.
So I get Doom, then I'm able to. It already had Doom 2 on it on the PlayStation version. Took me a few years to get Final Doom, but at the same time, Duke Nukem 3D, they'd use the source code, from Doom to make their own game. That took me to a whole new level with first-person shooters.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, I can be these badass heroes running around kicking the shit. It doesn't matter if I die, because when I go back to the start level, it doesn't. My PlayStation doesn't take 6 minutes to load up again. I literally have to just put in the code.
Yeah.
2016 though comes around and id Software, I'm going to say it right, id, not ID. id Software drops Doom, and oh my god, I had to stop playing Doom. It was like,
oh, you were going to your place.
It was like crack, mate. Seriously, when I could load up Doom, go on the multiplayer, the map would start, and I would start to get in the zone. Everything would just block out, and I would be lapping the map. Seriously, you would just start running and jumping all the way around. You would be shooting and reloading without thinking. You would just be aiming at the guy in front of you, not thinking about the guy behind you, hitting the next special power up, running like hell. It is crazy. It is frantic. But once you got into that zone, you were killing everything in your path.
It was like running.
And it was like
I remember saying
blood and gore and death.
When I first started playing it, when you get that first bit, you step off the table. I was like, oh, okay, let's check out the new Doom. Oh, I'm in the wall. Oh, fuck. Like it was
you
really
fly.
like it's fast.
Yeah,
but great.
And like I said, when I got in the zone, I mean, I don't know if Linda's still in the comment section, but there were times where I would be there and the game would be going good or the game would be going bad, but my language was just fluid. Like, fuck you, were so invested. Boom! Yeah. Double barrel shotgun, then switching to the rocket launcher, hitting again, getting
Dylan's
the
like leaning at the door, drinking.
Dylan was coming into the room, and that would throw me off because I'm like, I don't know if I should play this. Then I'm dying and I feel bad. I'm trying to keep my kill death ratio up. You get invested in a game, especially in an online game.
Yeah.
That if you get too far, and I know this personally, looking at games like World of Warcraft or any MMORPG, if I go too deep in the rabbit hole, there's no coming back. I've got Red Dead Redemption 2 at least. I'm like level 100 and then we stop. But if
I can quit any day now. As long as I'm level 100.
If you gave me the time and the console and an online game and just went play, and you don't have to move.
Yeah.
You've seen Blade. Everyone's seen Blade, that fat guy.
Like Biscuit Boy. Sorry, I thought you meant
Blade himself.
Blade's not fat, dude.
The fat guy in the seat. That'd be me.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice. Playing Doom.
No, you'd be the guy with the wrist support from South Park, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Linda's just been kissing me goodbye.
Literally. Nice. So my number two.
Yes.
Chrono Trigger.
Oh, amazing
Square
game.
Enix. In the same vein as the early Final Fantasies, obviously, but it's basically like a time traveling sort of Japanese RPG.
Better than Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, I think it's better than most of them. I've just got a soft spot for it. I played it on originally the Super Nintendo using the old giant stackable conversion cartridge, and then you put the Japanese game on the top, and then you have to put an English game in the back of it so it could like convert
register
everything.
It. Yeah,
incredible technology. A stiff breeze will knock it, so it'll crash. Obviously, perfect. And you take control of it's turn-based combat and
what was his name?
Chrono.
That's
it's just Chrono, but that was cool because you could change the names as well.
That was amazing.
Multiple endings, huge amounts of.
You got it for the Game Boy.
I've got it for for a DS.
The DS, sorry.
DS, and so I can play it in the toilet now. 2019.
And it's the most amazing game to play.
I still go back and play it. You know, you have this huge sprawling, sort of like overlapping. Time travel.
Yeah, I mean you've got like a world map.
You'd actually travel
to the
through
future,
back in time,
go to the
and then
past.
it'd be the same map but changed slightly.
And there's this over-impending evil.
Huge fight at the end with this big apocalypse that happens. It's absolutely fantastic. And the DS version actually adds in some cutscenes as well, where they've animated some amazing little cutscenes.
I never played the original, and I think I've said this before. I never did RPG games because I was just like, fuck you. If I can't hit you with a rocket and kill you in one shot, I shouldn't be playing this. And then when
this is Tetris.
Yeah. Then when Dylan was born, I had time and I was looking into games to play, and I played Phantasy Star 2 on the Mega Drive Arcade, which was absolutely fucking amazing to play. And I played Final Fantasy 7 on the PSP as well. That was absolutely amazing. Never completed it all the way through, killed all the monsters. Then this guy lends me Chrono Trigger for the DS, and
lost
the depth of it. The opening of spoilers. The opening, you come out, your character, you change your name, you go to a fair, you meet this girl, and these things happen that you make.
Teleport gag, isn't it?
Yeah, you make these choices, and you end up going back in time and saving her. She turns out to be the princess, and when you get taken to court, they question you on situations that happened.
Yeah. And that you played.
Yeah,
that
choices that you made before it and stuff.
Yeah, and I'm sat there and I'm like,
they pull in witnesses.
This is the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
You know, this is a game where somebody said we're going to give you moral choices before you even know it's a moral choice. I tried to lie to the lawyer, knowing for well it was a lie, and he went, "This is what you said," and I was like, "Bastard." Yeah. But yeah,
you're like, "Oh, that's right, I did do that."
You should totally do that one.
I should go back.
I'll give you the DS to play it on.
Sure.
Then you play it. It's awesome.
Number ones.
Go on, Ian.
No, you do number ones because I want to talk about your number one as well.
Okay, my number one.
Kind of going to talk shit about you.
I'm pretty sure if anyone watches the show regularly, I've mentioned it countless times. It's a game that I'm still playing, and that is Dark Souls. Dark Souls is a game franchise where I go Dark Souls 1, then 3, then 2, then 3, then 1, then 2, then 1, then 3, then 2, then 1. I'm playing one of the Dark Souls games at any point over. It's been nearly 20 years of nearly 10 years of Dark Souls, and I don't know another franchise of games where you can just pick up a different Dark Souls game, one of the three, or if you want, you can go play the Bloodborne or go back and play Demon Souls.
Not everybody can pick it up.
No, if you're invested in From Software's games in the Dark Souls universe.
Oh yeah.
You can just pick up any one and go, you know what, this time around I'm going to build a different type of character. I've done the warrior class. Now I'm going to be the thief class. Or I'm going to be, there's like 500 weapons to choose from. They've all got the, variations of weapon style.
But it's hard.
There's lots of mid-maxing of stats. Yes, it's hard, but it is. I've never played a game that has felt so truly rewarding that when you get to the game over screen at the end, when you've completed it, and you put that controller down and go, holy shit, I have just been through
that
a gaming experience.
That you possibly broke halfway through.
Oh yeah, oh mate, yeah.
Did you break a controller on this?
Never broke a controller playing Dark Souls. I knew going into Dark Souls, when I was a Dark Souls virgin, I knew what I was getting into because I came into Dark Souls quite late.
Yeah.
But because I knew it was a hard game that you could kill yourself so easily, you kind of gotta learn to laugh, But even now, I play Dark Souls. I'm replaying Dark Souls 3. Just yesterday, I started to lose my temper with the game, and I'm just like, stop.
You cannot lose your temper. You have to have 100% control of that game all the time. I love the first one so much.
Yeah, me
I remember
too.
watching Gary playing it and thinking, this is not the game for me. It's from the makers of Demon Souls. Everyone knows the history of Demon Souls. It's fucking bastard game.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't want to get through that with Dark Souls. I wanted to enjoy my games. Then when he said he completed it, I thought, well, Gary can complete it. I can complete it. You know.
Right.
Yeah, fuck it.
Challenge is on.
That's it. The challenge is on. It's a really hard game from the makers of this really hard game. But if Gary can complete it,
from the people that make, Chrome Hounds,
and I've seen,
oh shit,
and I've seen him smash games. You know, like say, like I'm never playing this, but to actually stick with one that looked bad, I went through it, and it was just such a rewarding experience. You know, playing it through with somebody to get me through the game was amazing. Then trying to do it on my own, then helping people, then going back and being
and then invading other people.
This
and
is
ruining their
this
day.
is why I argue with Gary when he moans at me about what I do on Red Dead Redemption. He did it first on Dark Souls. He purposely.
I learned it from watching you.
He purposely invaded. He purposely invaded other people to assassinate them because he was progressing that part of the Dark Souls game. And I'm like, well, you know, if griefing's griefing.
Yeah, on the first
Griefing ain't easy.
But when you can kill the griefer as well, that's such a rewarding experience as well.
Yes,
and you get so much better at it. When people come into your game, you bow.
Yeah,
you
the honor system.
You do not take the Estus. You know, you fight, and then when you have them on their back, and you're like, you invaded my world, bitch.
Yeah.
And then their mate comes out of nowhere. You're like, fuck, there was two of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dark Souls, absolutely love it. Still going to play it. Can't wait for more.
Yeah. My number one is Metal Gear Solid 3, and by and large, the entire Metal Gear Solid franchise.
Is that Snake Eater?
It's Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater.
Yeah.
Is the
best
most
riding joke ever.
The most amazing gaming experience I've ever had. It's the only game I think I've ever turned on to play one day, and it's freaked me out because it was something else. I shit you not. I was playing Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. I've started the game. I've landed in the jungle. I'm making my way through. It's a stealth game. Yeah, you know, I know that there's going to be some freaky bits. I've come across Revolver Ocelot. I accidentally killed him. Created a gaming paradox. Laughed at myself.
Got an achievement.
Got an achievement. No, because it was PlayStation 2. No achievements.
Right.
Continued the game. Got past him.
Oh yeah, I didn't play it until they re-released
they
all of
re-released
it.
it.
I bought it with that. Yeah.
I got to a part and had to save it, turn it off, and go away. And I was away from the game for a couple of days because I needed to space the game out. I was playing it too much. It was burning me out. And I took some time away. And when I came back, I loaded up the game. It came up on the menu, Metal Gear Solid 3, press start, continue. And all of a sudden, I was a Japanese samurai with two massive, huge blades. And there were these weird zombie things all around me. So I start beating the shit out of them because they're going to kill me.
Because what are you going to do?
What are you going to do? So I'm like, I have put Metal Gear Solid 3 in, right? So I open the game up. There's Metal Gear Solid 3, load it back up. Does the same thing again. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Kick the shit out of these monsters, and then once I allowed them to kill me, I believe, I woke up and Snake had been resting. Because I'd been away from the game, Snake was resting in the jungle, and that was the dream he'd had.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's absolutely
It's
amazing.
It's the same game where you can kill the sniper by just moving
Waiting.
the eternal
Moving
clock
the
on
time
and...
away. Yeah.
He dies of old
He
age.
dies of
waiting.
Dies of old age. The
Yeah.
game where if you do not kill any enemy in the game, when you make your way towards the Sorrow, the river is empty. If you kill everybody, the river is just plastered with the spirits of everybody who's died.
Yeah.
And they all have the different movements from how you killed them. There's Raiden's in there. You know, the whole end battle sequence with the Shagohad is one of the greatest gaming action set pieces I've ever been in. And then the fact that this sets up Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 4, Metal Gear Solid, fucking every other Metal Gear Solid game that I ever will play.
Yeah.
Yeah, spaff.
That would be your sort of like
That's
instead of like Foxhound if you had a
yeah.
There it
no,
is.
it would,
Foxhound.
instead of Foxhound yours would be called like Spaff. It would be like like SPA
Yeah. I'll go
Andy,
shut my arm now.
end us with your number one.
Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Yes. Yes.
I've never
completed it.
I've never
played it.
completed a Zelda
Yeah.
game. I've only played the one of the original ones back on the NES. I'm not someone who
hard.
didn't own a Nintendo for the longest period. I was more Sega, so I never really fell into the Zelda games.
For me, the main reason is that it was the first time. I don't know if it was the first time I ever played a sandbox game.
Right.
Like a true, go anywhere open world sandbox.
Especially a 3D one.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we had a sandbox with Grand Theft Auto on the PlayStation.
Yeah,
it was top down.
You're absolutely right. That was probably the first one.
Ocarina of Time.
When I think it was more like the first time that I really realized what a sandbox game could be, what an open world game could be. Because that's a good call. Yeah, GTA was absolutely an open world game. It's just a top down map.
Yeah.
But to realize, this is where you go into other. It's not all preloaded. You go into other.
Yeah. For me, it was Super Highlight on the Mega Drive.
Yeah.
First Japanese RPG.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, one is a great game. It's gorgeous. Yeah. It's got a great story. It's a classic story. It's a great sort of reimagining and sort of like continuation at the same time of Link and Zelda's story. But great boss fights, great puzzles and temples and everything like that. So it ticks all the boxes in that respect. But like I said, for the actual experience, it was one of those where I was like, I felt something changed. I was like, I can't believe gaming's got to this. I can't believe this is where we're at now. Do you know what I mean?
I remember
that it felt like a sort of shifting in what games we could expect in the future, because it instantly, and what a lot of studios did was like, what could we do with an open world? Boom, GTA 3.
Yeah.
That's what you can do with it, and then onwards, it's set the bar very high.
Yeah.
Because there's also been a lot of bad sandbox and open world games obviously that have tried to replicate it. And it stood the test of time as well. Like pop culture
when we
wise.
talk about
Ocarina of Time, it usually gets mentioned as another one of the greatest games ever.
Yeah.
That's it. When we talk about like when we talk about great games, I remember seeing a friend of mine play Ocarina of Time. I had a 64, he had a 64. I was all first person shooters, Turok and fucking Quake and Armorine. Nice. He's getting all these different adventure games, and he gets Legend of Zelda, and I'm like, I don't like Link. I've tried to play the Zelda games on the Nintendo, didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Tried to play Link's Awakening on the Super Nintendo, didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Just what's going on. And the fact that I could watch him get on his horse and ride from area to area, I'm like, I could do that. I could so play this.
And calling your horse, dude, in the Ocarina.
That's
Red Dead Redemption. Fucking Zelda did it first.
That's it. When he got to Ganondorf, the final boss, the look on his face that he was about to face the final boss, he went into some fucking, I gotta do this, and it was so dramatic. I was like, oh man, I gotta play this, and I didn't get the chance, and I didn't get a chance to do Majora's Mask.
Yeah, no, I didn't enjoy Majora's Mask as much. No, I mean, I just didn't get a chance to play it.
When I got with Linda and we got the Wii, I was like, I need to get Twilight Princess. It's a Zelda game. I know Zelda's amazing. Ocarina of Time. I did Skyward Sword. And every now and again, we got Breath of the Wild for the Switch, and I'm like.
See, I keep meaning to buy a 3DS to play Ocarina of Time on the toilet. There's a Chrono Trigger going on one hand. Yeah. 2019.
How are you gonna wipe?
I'll just pinch it off.
Like in South Park.
Well, speaking of pinching it off,
nice.
We're going to end this part of the podcast, but we'll be back with part 3, answering your questions.
Yes.
Don't go anywhere.
Sweet.
in. There we go.
Oh, I need the mouse.
Get your ass on
I'm just going to hit
camera.
okay, so if you can just hit record.
Well, you get yourself in the position.
I was going to do it.
Yeah,
now.
I was going to say, get yourself in the position.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm in control.
You comfortable? You comfortable with that?
I look comfortable.
No, I'm doing that.
You right there?
I'm good.
Eyes are a bit shiny.
Not fun now.
You better not get pulled over.
It took me a minute. I was like, oh shit. There he is, look.
Right, so we're back on, right?
We are on.
We're on.
Are
Hey, look.
Hey!
It's like
There's a Gary. We got a floating
1,
Gary.
2,
Look.
3,
Just gonna have to
4,
project
5, 6,
to make sure I get
7, 8, 9, 10. 10 second delay. That's right.
Yeah.
No,
like
that
that.
was.
Right, so we're here for the Q&A section, and the first question tonight is from Joanne Ellison. Hey, Joanne.
What up?
Can you guys chat a bit about David Cronenberg? No. Next question.
No, wait. We answer questions.
Oh, right, yeah, but no, we don't want to answer
You
this
just
one
have to
because,
read.
haven't we, recently, me and you with the film and the...
Name your sex tape.
Well, no, all right. So basically, we love David Cronenberg, and we have just recently done a request of
a Cronenberg
for a
film.
Cronenberg film. We can't say
Nice.
which one, but if you're not familiar with David Cronenberg's work, he's done films like The Fly, Videodrome, Scanners, History of Violence, Existenz, Crash.
Yeesh.
Like, we'll have to do Crash at one point. won't
Yeah,
we?
you're gonna have to
Probably,
watch that
yeah.
again.
I've never actually watched it, but there's a scene where a guy fingers a woman.
Seriously?
Seriously? Mate, the fact that there's a guy fingering a woman's cut. Yeah, why? Why would I watch
Spoilers.
that?
It's not his finger. Spoilers.
Like,
You watch Cronenberg films because you want something that's going to challenge your
Everything.
sensibilities.
Yeah.
no. I watched a couple of Cronenberg films and went, you know what?
That's enough.
You know what? I love The Fly though.
Yeah,
Yes, The Fly
man.
is my
I
favourite.
really
Man,
like The Fly.
Gina Davis is absolutely gorgeous. in
I
that
do like
movie.
Videodrome though as well.
Fucking I was gonna say David Spade, but it's not, is it? It's James Woods. James Woods and Deborah Harry. When I remember there was a series on BBC Two where they just did a whole David Cronenberg series of films, and I managed to watch Shivers, which I thought was impressive, but I didn't like the feel of
I've not
Right.
seen.
because I was young as well, and it just Shivers kind of had this whole sexual thing going on about it. When the guy stepped in the elevator with the mum and the daughter, you know something bad's going to happen. Rabid with the thing coming out the woman's boob and turns people into rabid fucking people. I like that because of Dawn of the Dead, but still, there's a weird thing in the boob. Then he's pulling videotapes out of his stomach in Videodrome. I'm like I said, I got to a point I was like, Cronenberg, thanks.
There's always things going in and out of other people's orifices.
Yeah.
Society, I want to say.
Society. It wasn't Cronenberg.
That wasn't
but
Cronenberg. That's a great film.
It was a great film.
Tired of winning.
Oh yeah. No. It's that rabid one that I couldn't.
Yeah. So talking about dating, did he do a Scanner Darkly?
He
Was that
did
something else?
Scanners.
Scanners. Yeah. Michael Ironside is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great, and we've got some films coming up of him soon.
Yeah. We've got a review of his coming up soon. Very soon.
The next question's from Amir Osman. Hey, Amir.
Yo.
What up?
Hi, guys. Thanks for answering my questions from the previous podcast. My question this time is on the upcoming Frank Herbert's Dune film in 2020. I don't know if I've ever seen this about Dune, but oh my god, it's big. Dune is big. Sorry.
I've not read the Dune books. I've seen the film, and I enjoyed its adaptation, I guess. It was a star-studded cast.
It's had a lot of adaptations, and they put a lot of
TV
money
series as well.
into the film.
it
What's your
new
opinion
one?
on the Frank Herbert book? Not read the book.
Not read it either. No.
Nope. Sorry.
Seen the movie with Carl McLachlan.
Yes, that's.
Long film, and they rushed the ending.
I wouldn't know if they. I mean,
I can't remember.
Okay,
Dude, I haven't seen Dune since I was a kid. I got to be honest.
it's that's what I mean. It's like
other than like fucking sandworms.
it's like a 3-hour movie,
What, Sting?
and the whole
Sting, Patrick Stewart.
You've got the whole floating fat guy in the suit. It works, but they've had problems. They've always had problems, Is Denis Villeneuve Villeneuve, the right director chosen for this film. Oh, he did Blade Runner 2049 and The Arrival.
He's a fantastically visual director.
Is Arrival with the weird disc things?
Yes, yeah. I think he's a great choice. I think he's a great choice for director for Dune. After seeing Blade Runner 2049 and The Arrival, and I really enjoyed The Arrival. It was after enjoying The Arrival that I was like, okay, I think Blade Runner might be in good hands. And you know, Blade Runner, I've only seen it the once still so far. I need to watch it again before I really make my decision on good, bad. It's an experience.
If he can visually make Dune enticing enough that you can go for a whole first movie and leave it open for second, third, and fourth, because it's a big universe, I believe, then that would work. But if he gets kind of shortlisted to say, hey, like they did with the original film, they go, right, we need you to get all these books, how many books there are, and stuff it in this 2-hour movie. Yeah, you can say goodbye to it.
Well, no, yeah, I was going to say that's series, isn't it? You have to go Netflix series or something.
Yeah. Number 3, what are your opinions on the cast that have been confirmed, such as Timothy Chalamet, Stellan Skarsgård? That's the guy who played it? Stellan Skarsgård?
No, that's his brother.
Skarsgård. So was that Skarsgård is that the one from the Tarzan movie? The ripped one? Or is that the dad?
Charlotte Rampling, Josh Brolin, Javier Bardem, Oscar Isaac, Dave Bautista, and also rumored as Jason Momoa. That's a pretty badass lineup. You know, if they can get that with the script behind it.
You've got Apocalypse, fucking Drax, and Aquaman in that movie.
Yeah.
Superhero team.
Who's Apocalypse?
Oscar Isaac was Apocalypse, right? He plays Poe Dameron in...
Yes, yeah.
In AI. He was Apocalypse, dude, in X-Men Apocalypse.
Oh, fuck.
I like Oscar Isaac as well. He's very good. I loved him in Ex Machina.
You liked him in Sucker Punch as well.
What?
Yeah. Drop that one. And would the previous Dune film, 1984, directed by David Lynch and had Carl McLaughlin, and the Dune TV series in the early 2000s be reviewed on your channel? Will... I believe the film will probably be reviewed.
Probably, yeah.
The TV series...
Not so much. We'll probably mention it.
I mean, how long was the series?
I don't know. I didn't see it.
Yeah. We'd have to see the film first. Have to play the game. There were 2 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on the list. I'm here. Next question's from Jeeve79. Hey, Jeeve.
What up?
Yo.
Hey, my dudes. If Alien Covenant lured so many people into the cinemas for a mediocre sci-fi monster movie, how come Hollywood does not see the potential in marketplace for really good and proper monster movies? It's like everything has to be superhero and it's starting to become boring and a bit childish. I wonder what is wrong with a proper adult monster movie. I would love to see a dark werewolf or a monster movie that is actually well done and scary as fuck. And what is up with all the happy endings? If you want sequels, you need the bad guy, the monster, to win in the first movie. P.S. I'm not promoting sequels here. They never are better than the originals.
I personally would love to see the classic werewolf Frankenstein, genre brought back.
They wanted to, didn't they? With the dark universe.
Yeah, they tried. Was the Mummy the last one?
That was the first and last one.
Tom Cruise. Yeah,
it was the beginning and end of it.
Before that, you had the what was the Benicio del Toro one? The Wolfman.
Yeah,
that one.
That wasn't bad.
It was average. It was just average.
They did that Van Helsing thing though, didn't they, with Hugh Jackman? I wasn't sure.
That was awful.
Yeah. Was that them trying to do it, or did they just want to like?
That was
everything
just
has to be faster. We aren't
summer blockbuster.
Yeah.
We aren't scared of them stumbling around anymore. That's why the classics are the classics.
That's a good point. I think they're generally considered to not.
Everything has to be bigger and scarier.
Yeah.
Obviously, the problem with Prometheus is not just the fact that, I mean, the creature survives in that movie actually, and it's actually like, hey, the evil creature wins. It's just the fact that Ridley Scott completely changed the original life cycle of the alien and said, hey, this is my interpretation, which ruined the rest of the film. I did recently, I don't know if you've seen it actually, Gary, the new Alien trilogy, the new Alien trailer that was released a couple of days ago.
For the short films.
The short film.
Yeah, there's a question
I watched one of those.
But
you watched the one with the guys in the ship?
Yeah, Contaminated, I think it was
Containment.
Containment, good call. Yeah, that was alright, actually. That weren't too bad. I mean, they didn't show a lot, and that's probably good for this one to build up. There's a last scene which is really good in it though, the way spoilers, there's an alien on board, so it all goes to shit. So the last thing you see, this pilot who's cut themselves, and knows that they're about to be basically killed by the alien or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, what they basically do is they're docking with a bigger ship. So she writes in blood like "Do not open" backwards on the door of like the escape hatch,
so they can't be killed.
Leaves it, and it's a really powerful kind of like
curiosity
visual actually.
You've got to. I suppose you've got to keep the killer alive, but in a good series, it's really difficult to do that because every new director is always trying to tell a different story.
Yeah, I think it's like they all want to plant their flag in a big franchise.
You should always at least, if you're going to make a film, a standalone film that you want sequels to, at least tell a good story first, so that you will get a sequel.
Yeah,
that people would be interested in coming back. Doesn't have to end with the villain winning, but you could still do something interesting, so long as what you build in the first film is complete enough.
Yeah, I kind of hoped Jeepers Creepers was going to be good.
It is.
And then,
the first one is good.
And then the director just decided to,
Next question, Ian?
By the time you podcast, Alien Anniversary short movies might be out. Any comments on this, perhaps? No?
Well, I'm not prepared to watch anything new Alien related yet.
You should watch Containment. You will like it as just a little teaser, but it will just be a little teaser.
Sure.
Okay. Next question from Will Schwarting. Hi, Will. What do you consider to be the best choreographed one-on-one fight sequence in film history?
Oh,
tough question.
That's a great question, though.
Also, favourite martial arts movie from the 90s. Thanks again for all the quality entertainment, boys. Fist bump. Rocky versus Apollo Creed, The Matrix.
That's my answers, Ian.
Oh, sorry. I thought that was his. Gary, have you got any particular choices?
Rocky versus Apollo Creed is my favourite one-on-one fight scene in film. I love the Rocky franchise. The first one between Rocky and Apollo is just great. You've been through the drama right up until that point, and then it's a long, massive fight sequence where you love both characters.
Mate, I tend to say that I would go from the Rockies normally, and that would have been my first choice. But really thinking about it, Morpheus is fighting Neo.
Then the Matrix is great as well.
The training sequence.
Yeah, that one-on-one fight that they have, where he's first just literally woken up from. Learning Kung Fu.
Don't try to hit me and hit me.
That's my favourite.
When Mouse runs, Morpheus is fighting Neo, and everyone's and goes to watch and everything.
Weirdly enough, I've got Apollo Creed in my head now, looking at Rocky and going, "Don't try to hit me and hit me." And Rocky
I'd agree with you too as well. My favourite martial arts movie from the 90s, probably The Matrix, to be honest.
I would suppose my answer kind of incorporates all of Kung Fu. I mean, anything by Jackie Chan or Jet Li, Sammo Hung, Donnie Yen, anything martial arts based, I suppose. I did think about the Rocky fight, and it was very well choreographed. But then all of a sudden I started thinking like The Raid. Yeah. I started thinking like Jet Li fights where it looks like he's hitting these guys, and he probably is. My mind went to Riccio. But then I was like, that's too far. You've gone too far now with Riccio. The Matrix, though, is absolutely just, amazing. I want to say, though, the last fight sequence of Smith is a really great fight sequence.
In The Matrix?
Yeah.
The original? Oh.
No, not the first movie. The last one. When they're fighting in the rain.
No, the
just
first
thousands
one. The first
one was
the last
CGI
one.
nightmare.
There's thousands
the first one was the last one, dude.
That rain sequence where the rain just stops and then comes back down. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Rushed.
Sorry.
Very much so, yeah.
Next question from Marcus. Is that Bautista?
Bautista.
Yeah. Hey, Marcus.
Hey, man.
Do you have podcasts available on any platforms? iTunes, Google Play? If not, do you plan to? That's the answer again, isn't it?
Huh?
Sorry. With the
No, it's not. Sorry.
Oh.
Just to confuse you. But no, we...
man.
Our podcasts are hosted on Podbean.
Yeah.
And from Podbean, they are sent to iTunes and all the other, platforms. I guess we've only been on there since February. So we've not been, the podcasts haven't been out on all those other systems for very long.
No.
But getting there. So they should start popping up more and more if you do another search now.
They do regularly get updated, obviously, with all the newest ones, but all the old ones are already updated on there. PS review Judgment Night, Dennis Leary, Cuba Gooding Jr. and Emilio Estevez. Please and thanks. That is a great lineup, Dennis Leary and Cuba Gooding Jr.
I've not seen Judgment Night. I don't know it.
And Emilio Estevez. I like Emilio Estevez. It'd be cool to hang out with a beer.
The lesser Sheen.
Totally. Yeah.
See, I ain't got any of that tiger blood.
Next question is from Dave Murray. Hey, Dave.
Yo, Dave.
Alright, guys. What films scared you the most growing up? Mine were Alien and American Werewolf in London.
Nice, yeah.
Yes. I remember I got a copy of American Werewolf in London. I went into the front room. I put it in. Blue Moon started playing. And I'm watching two guys walking across the moors.
Yeah.
I'm thinking to myself, this isn't too bad.
And it looks very close to home, doesn't it? Because we got moors.
Yeah. But I wasn't thinking that too far. You know, my mum came into the front room. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, watching TV. And she's like, okay. And she walks back out the room again. I carry on watching this film. They step out into the moors. And holy Christ, when he starts screaming David, I ejected that videotape so fast and threw it at my front room window. My mum was pissed when she came in.
Wait, out or through the window?
It bounced off.
Oh, okay.
But it you know, it wasn't.
The intention was to go through.
The intention was, oh my god, this videotape had to go away.
What a great advert for a movie. So scary, you will literally pull the tape out and throw it through your window.
I've never had that reaction to a film ever.
Man, it's American Werewolf in London. You know, fucking
It's
hell.
a comedy.
It's our
That first bit where he starts screaming David is not fucking funny.
No, but the film does become quite funny.
And I got, I was like 8 maybe.
Yeah.
You know.
I honestly say Nightmare on Elm Street scared the fucking shit out of me when I was a kid. And I mean, as in like, and going forward, Freddy Krueger fucking scared the shit out of me. It took me a long time until I was like in my teens to like re-watch them all again. And I think I started with like number 6 where they'd gone on the more comedy route anyway. So kind of was like, it's not too bad. And then I went back and rewatched them.
Yeah, Freddy never scared me.
Mate, I had to start with it where it's like, okay, and then we can go to when he's the child murdering psychopath, you know? Just make him be funny first. Okay.
Dark moments of our childhood.
Pretty much.
For me, it's a film we've reviewed, Ian. Can you know what it is?
Oh, The Last Unicorn.
Yeah, terrifying. It's the entity. The rapist spirit ghost monster.
I can see how that would do it.
Yeah.
Creepy
Did
shit.
you try to throw the videotape away?
No.
So it wasn't that scary, was it?
No,
I've never had that reaction to a film ever.
So you kept the entity on and just sat there watching it, hating every moment.
Scared of it, yeah. I never...
Oh my god, I hate this!
yeah. But I've never turned a film off for scaring me. I still seek films out to try and get scared. But,
yeah, it's hard, isn't it? Do you remember what we were
hard.
talking about when we went to see the new Halloween? And it
Yeah.
was date night.
Yeah,
and
it was
all
date
the
night
big
for everyone.
jumps
Yeah.
that we're watching, everyone laughed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
oh, it's funny, wasn't it? You know, and it's like, oh, someone died. What's the problem? But yeah, it is hard, and it's hard to find a film that's scary. There's plenty of movies that will shock you still.
Yeah, make you feel uneasy. But
But to genuinely scare you, I can't think of what was that recent ghost story thing on Netflix that you watched?
The TV
the
series.
disappearance of
The
Mother
Haunting on
McCann.
Hill House.
No.
The Haunting of Hill House. Yeah,
That-
there was some
so-
ghost in there that actually
Something wrong with you.
very, very frightening.
Yeah.
Very, very memorable stuff.
Go on.
Next question for us, please, Ian.
Next question's from Lewis Chenry. Hey Lewis.
Yo.
Hey man.
Hey guys, hope all is well. What was your favourite episode and favourite season of The X-Files? Just rewatching them on Amazon Prime, currently on season 2. Cheers, keep up the great work. I fucking loved X-Files, but it kind of died death after Mulder disappeared.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jason
yeah.
Patrick.
Yeah, I tried to keep up with it. You know, me and Linda, we bought the whole box set. We worked our way back through it because we hadn't seen it all. Watched the Dagger stuff with his new agent. Got behind them. They took them away because obviously people hate them. They brought back Mulder. They tried to expand the universe. We even tried to get through the new seasons 9 and 10, and that was a bit of a drag. After the movie with Billy Connolly, who was the pedophile fucking priest, who was a psychic, I was like, what the fuck?
I never watched the movie. I like you said, I think I literally tapped out when Mulder went.
Yeah,
I
I
did
never
too.
watched any of the
I
others.
continued to watch a few episodes,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah,
it's just
when-
not good enough.
The stuff in the tree, you know, the little flies who cocoon people and drain their blood. That was a great episode.
Yeah.
Went out in the woods. It's in the darkness.
Darkness Falls.
Yeah, Darkness Falls. Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
The one on the World War II ship where they age.
That's one of mine. Is Dead Calm.
Yeah. When it's in the is it in the water? I think it is.
And something in the water. Yeah.
But
they start to age 1 year every minute.
Yeah. One of my all-time absolute favorites was the black and white episode with the Elephant Man boy.
Yeah, yeah.
And the Walking on Memphis with Cher. And it's funny because Cher was asked to be on the show and she said no because she thought it would be corny. But then when she watched the actual reaction of fans who absolutely loved it, she realised that she made a mistake and wish she'd come back to it.
So. Mate, is it Squeeze and Tombs?
Tombs,
oh yes.
Season 1, yeah. Doug Anthony Hutchison.
From Green Mile.
From Green Mile.
Yes.
He played Percy in Green Mile.
He's fantastic in
Frightening,
that. He, that is an uncomfortable man to look at for a while, isn't it?
It's the green eyes and just his intense, stare.
Yeah.
1,000-yard stare.
I remember staying at a friend of mine's house around that time, like just sleeping over for a night or whatever, and he had he still had a bunk bed. I suppose I was like about 14 at the time or something like that. I was in the top, and he had the fucking poster, and it was the cover where it's like it's rips in paper, and you can just see his eyes, and they're glowing yellow like they do when he gets all freaky and shit. Yeah. Just that staring at me all night, just like. Fucking, there's 8 hours I didn't sleep. You know what I mean? It's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, did you either of you see Jose Chung's From Outer Space episode? It was
probably. Yeah.
It's an episode where there's a guy trying to interview people with interactions that they've had with the X-Files and the Men in Black.
Yeah.
But the way they portray Mulder and Scully,
Jesse Ventura in it.
Jesse Ventura turns up as a Men in Black and explains it, and the guy's talking to this reporter Jesse Ventura turned up and was talking to me like this, and Jesse Ventura's on screen and he's talking to you about Men in Black, and then Mulder turns up. I think Scully turns out to be a fucking badass in it.
Yeah,
they were scared of her, so that's how Gillian Anderson was in the episode where she just looked like she could kick everybody's ass.
So random.
It was a great episode. Next
love X-Files, but I've not watched any of the comeback series.
Yeah, I've tried. The first one was good because it was kind of like a monster of the week.
Yes,
but it just couldn't hold me enough, and
it was one of the
an overarching story that didn't work.
X-Files was at the time of like Buffy. It was one of the first shows ever to start doing other than the Monster of the Week, it was one that tried to have overarching seasons or stories.
Yeah.
And it was to do with Mulder and his sister and the conspiracy of the alien abductions and everything else. But they just weren't quite, it was just too ahead of its time, to pull it off correctly.
Next question's from Alexander Kyrchek. Hey Alex.
Yo.
In memory of the great writer, producer, director Larry Cohen, 1941 to 2019, what are your favourite Cohen movies and why? Cue the wing circle.
I'm going to go with Maniac Cop. Yeah, Maniac Cop. It's got Bruce Campbell in it.
Yeah, it's got Bruce
Campbell. That's a swinger. I would say Maniac Cop as well, to be fair.
I don't know, the stuff as well.
The stuff is really memorable.
That fucking scared the shit out of me. I mean, seriously, I was sat there watching that TV like 12:30 at night, and I'm thinking, man, I really want to go to the fridge. And then he opens that fridge, and the yogurt's fucking trying to get him. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm never going to my fridge ever again.
Back to the start of the podcast.
It was a scary film, dude. No Nightmare on Elm Street. Fucking
big pussy.
Big pussy. Next question's from Louise Jones. Hey Louise. You set up the Off the Shelf Reviews Awards, the Shelfies. What are the categories?
Best Adam Sandler performance.
Best well dressed.
Best well dressed.
Best
dressed then.
Man, don't look at me like a fucking shit in your hand. It was just an idea.
That was the most Jannerism thing.
Well,
best well dressed.
What the fuck do you want me to say? Biggest cock, What? Hey, you got one?
No, I don't.
Not after the big cock award, the Kevin Spacey Memorial Award.
Kevin Spacey Memorial.
Yeah, you just give an award to whichever Hollywood actor that year got Kevin Spacey, basically. So, like next year, it'll probably be...
No, all the awards instead of Oscars are Kevin Spacey's. So
it's looking like Frank Underwood with his hands on his hips, just staring.
And then every time you give them to somebody, you go, "You're touching Kevin Spacey." Oh man.
Right.
Sorry.
Well, there you go.
Caught us off guard with that one, Louise.
No, I say best well dressed. Most money made. Most blood to the face.
I just want you to call them this though, not like when you say to me, like most money spent or something, and you sort of like, so the award would probably be like highest budget. But no, I want you to call it most money spent. Like it does exactly what it says on the tin moment. So, like,
the most simple definition.
Best dances done in a film, and they're like, so choreography. No.
Best dances
done in a film.
Most people turned up. So most attendants know most people turned up. How many people walked out of your film? That's another award as well.
You should do
that. Any more?
No,
we got
that.
Okay, there you go, Louise. Next question is from Craig Hall. Hey, Craig.
Yo.
Hi, folks. Hope everything is going smoothly. Stress levels are a minimum. Yes, trying to be. With Hellboy being recast and looking awesome. No disrespect to Big Ron. He was amazing. Batman, Superman, and Wolverine are all between actors at present. Who would be your picks for the recasting of these three? I know Tom Hardy's been a favourite for Wolverine for a while now, but as he's currently Venom, I'd be surprised if he was in the running. Stay sane and fist bumps all round.
Cool. So for me, for a Batman, I would, I think he's probably too late to play the role now, but I would go with John Hamm.
That would have been my go-to if it weren't for the very.
Is he
the Mad Men actor?
The main guy.
The main guy.
Yes, that's Thomas Wayne.
Well, I don't know. He was.
That's Thomas Wayne.
Yeah, but that's the Batman. You do the sort of.
But Bruce Wayne's Batman.
I mean, Ben Affleck is only
a
few years older, or he's around the same age as John Hamm. But I think in the recasting news that I heard, they're looking for a much younger Batman, fresh-faced Batman. Which I'm like,
it's gonna be Taron Egerton. It's gonna be Taron Egerton.
Yeah. I want
Kingsman is going to be fucking Batman, mate. I tell you. Break the shit down.
For Superman, I'm going to go with Oscar Isaac. I mentioned him earlier. I think he's a great, fantastic actor. He's got such a good range.
It's too short.
I think he can pull it off.
Have you seen Shazam, the trailer, mate? Don't worry about that. They got all that covered. They're just putting a bodysuit.
You remember Captain America? The transformation?
Yeah, true.
And for Wolverine, I'm going to go with, mentioned him also earlier, Anson Mount. Because he's just been fired off of Star Trek Discovery. He's up for work at the moment. If you want proof as to how he can do it, look at Hell on Wheels, which was
the cowboy TV show.
It's the cowboy TV show where they're building the rail across America, the first rail, and he was the main character. Absolutely. He's got the gruff voice. The gruffness. He can really deliver some emotional scenes as well.
Grizzled beard.
I think with a transformation, he could also pull it off.
I'd like to see play Wolverine is it Ryan Hurst from Sons of Anarchy played Opie?
Yes, yeah.
I'll give him a go. I'll give him a shot as Wolverine.
I think
Ragnar. He's in Walking Dead now actually as well. He's just come into Walking Dead. Isn't he?
Oh, he's friggin' Beta, isn't he? Yeah, fucking hell.
Yes,
I recognise that zombified face from somewhere. Shit. I look at the actors and I'm just like, anybody could be any of those characters. I mean,
I think
all those guys you've lined up are really, really good, but every year that passes that the new film doesn't start, those guys get older and we're always going to be looking for a younger guy. There's going to be some fucking...
I still like, Henry Cavill as Superman, to be fair.
Well, I mean, was it Brandon Roth for Superman Returns? He wasn't too bad. You stick glasses and a suit on a guy, he can be Clark Kent.
Very true.
With Wolverine, though, I mean, Hugh Jackman has had that nailed down for so fucking long.
Yeah, 20 years.
The new guy playing Hellboy, I wasn't completely sold on Hellboy because of Ron Perlman, and then I watched the R trailer and I thought, that's good because it's an R trailer, it's an R-rated Hellboy movie.
Yeah.
You keep with that and I'm behind it. If you take it away from me, fuck you, Ron Perlman's is better. But I still would like to see Ron Perlman come back as Hellboy, because
it's not going to happen.
The same thing with Hugh Jackman being Wolverine again, because if you stick somebody else
it's hard to pitch someone else as
now they haven't recast Wolverine, so if he wanted to, he could come back.
Batman should be Michael Keaton again, and it should be the old Batman from Batman Beyond, and they bring in the young kid.
100%.
Boom.
Taron Egerton.
And Superman. Superman.
CGI Christopher Reeve.
I was thinking
Resurrect
that.
the dead actor.
I was
He's
thinking
the only Superman. Every other
Get him
Superman
to play
is just
Kal-El.
a pale imitation.
No.
Get him to play
Let
Kal-El.
fucking Nicolas Cage do it like Nicolas Cage.
Fuck it, yeah.
Let
Nicolas Cage
give
do
Nick
it.
Cage a fucking DC payday. Go for it.
Yeah. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? He goes
Mandy
crazy.
too.
The death.
But with superpowers.
The death of Superman, and he dies halfway through and comes back.
And he's like,
They've
really
already done
oversells it.
They've
That'd be
done the
amazing.
death of Superman. Don't do it again.
No.
Yeah, they crammed that one into
Nicolas Cage will be able to do it.
Just-
Next question is from David Allen Evans. Hey, David.
Hey, man.
Hey fellas, seeing as the Alien series is always on the brain of the shelfers, I was wondering if you had seen this video about all the cut content from Prometheus. I'm not a huge fan of Damon Lindelof. Don't hate him either, but it seems as though they had some interesting ideas that didn't make it to the final cut. I was thinking that it's unfair to lay all the blame at his feet, as while I doubt his ideas would have been what Alien fans want, he didn't have any say on the disappointment that we got. Here's the vid. Here's the vid? Oh, there's a link there.
No, wait.
Well, there would have been, but he didn't put that.
I mean, there's so much speculation about Prometheus and about what they wanted to do, what the different writers envisioned, and then the director was changing stuff, and then the studio was changing stuff. You know, you can't fix it. You know, they fucked it the moment they decided to try and fix it.
He had some good ideas, but let's be realistic. At one point, there was going to be a wooden planet with monks on in space and an alien on board in the Alien universe.
Yeah.
Now, somewhere in the multitude of multi-universes, there is a series of alien movies where there are wooden planets and alien acid burning through them. And so I look at Prometheus and I'm like, they tried to do something and it didn't work. With all these extra things, it's exactly the same with like the Ridley Scott stuff when they just bring out extra stuff. And they go, hey, you know, if we put this extra talking bit in this film, maybe it explains this sequence better. No.
From what I gathered from the script,
You know, Charlize Theron still runs things in a straight line.
basically the
I'm gonna let it go here.
you know the aliens that made the goo and everything, they just had a lot more dialogue, a lot more screen time, and a lot more explanation as to who created them, why they created the goo, what they were doing, and it was just like.
Well, this is in the deleted scenes.
This way, it wasn't. It was in the original script that was never even filmed.
Oh, okay.
And so it was kind of trying to explain everything. And so the thing is once you explain everything, you've got nothing.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's why they cut all that stuff out to leave it more ambiguous and more of a mystery.
Yeah.
But doing that was, you know, not part of the advertising for the film, which was all your questions will be answered.
They fucked it when they fucked the design of the engineer.
Yeah.
What you see in Prometheus is not what you see in Alien. I don't care how you try to look at it. It just
It doesn't line up.
It doesn't line up. And once they did that, they fucked it up. And yeah, when you see the fucking advertising where it says, you know, all your questions will be answered, you're like, lies.
Well, in the original script, all those questions were answered.
No,
they just weren't what you may
they
necessarily want.
They didn't know my questions. I had questions. Like, how the fuck do you lose two guys? With all that technology, how do you lose them?
Yeah.
And next question is from Rem Lazar. Hey Rem.
Well,
Rem Lazar.
Rem Lazar?
Yeah.
How's that funny?
Lazar is what you said.
You'd love him, Ian. You really would. You have to go look him up later.
Right. Okay. I think I'll go check this guy out. Which actors would play you in the Off the Shelf Reviews movie? I saw this question. Charles Robinson, Terry Crews, and possibly either Lawrence Fishburne or Samuel Jackson for me.
So,
What?
you probably know what my next question is going to be, don't you?
No, what?
So, I'm not even going to say it. You can just answer it.
No, please continue.
Why are we all black?
Because I mean, they're all really funny.
Which one of us? Which one is Terry Crews?
No, they're all they're the choice for just playing me. You get your own choices.
Oh, I see. So I thought you were.
No. Those four guys are the different actors play me.
That's
Samuel Jackson,
you're
Lawrence
Kevin
Fishburne.
Smith, Ian.
Hey man, that's
He's
not hard.
Kevin Spacey.
He's getting Kevin, yeah.
Oh!
I know because McCulkin was one of McColland.
Right, so yeah, who would get to play you?
Well, I don't know. It's Terry Crews taking, is it?
Yeah, I've got
Because that's totally what I was thinking. I don't know.
Brendan Gleeson.
Yeah, I'll go for that. Why not? Yeah. Dude, that's a great actor.
He is a great actor. He was great in the was it the patrol officer? No, the border officer with who's the guy who plays War Machine in Marvel?
John Cheadle.
Yeah, that's a great movie. Gary.
I'm taking Jeff Bridges every time.
Well, nice, yeah, he's got Jeff Bridges.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'll go with like I said, Terry Crews, Lawrence Fishburne, Samuel Jackson. I'll go with Scarlett Johansson playing me.
Playing with you.
Sigourney Weaver, Linda Hamilton, Steve Guttenberg. I'd play a great Steve Guttenberg.
No, this would be playing you, Ian.
Yeah, Chevy Chase.
Chevy Chase playing you.
Yeah, I want to say Chris Farley, but then
God, I miss Chris Farley.
I miss Chris Farley as well.
I only watched the video of that the other day, actually, of him when he comes into like the late show with the
he's
he comes
fucking
down the stairs
insane
and
on that.
Picks up a dude, throws him in the fucking bin and
He
stuff.
was on cocaine for that shit. I watched him in Coneheads today.
I think you could literally see the moment where his heart explodes. You know?
Well, there's a point in that where he's just like, "Hold on, I'm trying to breathe," and they're still trying to ask him questions. He's like,
"Yeah." He was an ass.
Yeah. So all those guys for
I'm
me.
Taking Chris Farley.
Great choices.
Chris Farley.
Farley.
Next question's from Sam Chenery. Hey Sam.
Yes, Sam.
Hi. What film would you say you have watched the most?
Either Christine, Evil Dead 2, Serenity.
The Dark Knight.
Dark Knight. I was going to say Dark Knight.
Because
I was going along Batman's and I was like, must have watched the Dark Knight more. But I tell you what, it will only be a couple of years, and I reckon what will overtake everything will eventually be the Avengers,
Infinity War and Endgame,
and then Jimmy Troopers 3.
Yeah.
The Avengers, movies.
I've actually thought the same thing. I mean, I've seemed to have stopped like watching Army of Darkness. Yeah, I want to say The Thing, but I only watch The Thing once a year now. Where I used to kind of watch it friggin' all the time.
Oh yeah.
But then on top, but
because Christmas, so I'm like Die Hard then.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Die Hard.
That's it.
Or Scrooge, because that's the double bill. But it's like
that's it. If you take over a big course of time, but The Dark Knight, I mean, I've bought it a lot. I bought it on PSP. I bought it on DVD. You know, I just have to every now and again just watch the sequences with Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
Because I don't need. But then again, it's like. It's not even like watching the film. It's like, oh, what do I want? I'm on YouTube. Truck sequence, Dark Knight.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that was 10 minutes well spent. Thank you very much.
I'd love to know. I'd love to, when I die, go to a spreadsheet of the films that I've watched the most. And I'd be like, was it RoboCop? Was it Terminator? Was it
Hellraiser
Aliens?
Revelations.
Was it Hellraiser Revelations? Yeah, it's probably that one. Yeah.
Oh man.
So many. It's hard to really know, but because you growing up, there's a bunch of films that you watch over and over and over again. As you get older, you sometimes re-watch them, but when it's a special occasion like Christmas and whatnot. But there's not many films nowadays that I'll re-watch over and over again. Infinity War I have seen 3 times now.
Yeah,
that's
I
it.
don't know, man.
If the film is so good, it imprints itself on your mind that you don't even have to put the film on. You can just watch that sequence over again.
Yeah.
Like right now, I'm thinking Avengers: Age of Ultron, that final sequence where they're fighting. I don't even have to watch Age of Ultron now.
Yeah.
I'm just watching that sequence. But then you flick to Avengers where it's just like click. Oh god, I can't wait for Endgame.
Yeah, it's gonna be
not long.
A few weeks, man.
Yeah.
Nice.
Next question's from Arnglade Dragonov. Hey Arnglade, do you guys think Neil Blomkamp's idea for Alien? We got a big Alien.
There's a big old Alien. Yeah.
Neil Blomkamp's idea for Alien would have been good. And
yes.
What are your thoughts on Doom Annihilation?
No.
Neil Blomkamp is amazing at pretty much any sci-fi thing that he seems to do. So
almost. Elysium was.
Elysium's still good. It's a
thinker.
thinker.
Halfway through that movie.
It's a thinker. It's a thinking movie, but it's still a good movie. It's not as good as District 9. Don't get me wrong. Fuck no. And it's still not as good as Chappie, but.
Yeah, but the thing is, Neil Blomkamp's film scale is downward. he started with District 9, which was
they
so
always
good. He is on a downward.
They always are. I put him up there with M. Night Shyamalan. You know, he hits really good and then he goes down, but then he comes back up
with a massive
after a time. And Neil Blomkamp just hasn't had the chance yet. He hit big with Oat Studios. He scared a lot of people with that shit.
Yeah, very creative ideas.
If he gets behind the Alien,
well, James Cameron is looking at going to the studios. Screw whatever you're doing, you know, get Neil Blomkamp and do this Aliens film because it works.
Yeah, and if he does it,
Cameron loves it as well.
I'll probably really accept it. He could recanonize the film where they go, oh yeah, don't you remember when Hicks got pulled out from the cryo tube by those guys? You know,
fucking Gearbox.
You know, and you're like, oh, we have to bring in the game now, and it's like, just to bring Hicks in alive to be with Sigourney Weaver. I'm like, I'm done. I can do that.
They don't even need to do that because they're ignoring Alien 3.
Yeah. It can't be as bad as Doom Annihilation. Have you seen the trailer for that, Andy?
What?
Doom Annihilation?
The new Doom movie.
It's a new Doom movie.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking, like, when you said no thanks, I thought we were talking about the game. But
No, it's the trailer for the new movie from Universal, I believe it is.
No, not watched it.
No, it's basically a team of army guys get sent to Mars to find out what's going on because something's come through a portal.
Because that's Doom.
And killed everything. And it looks like rubber suits. And there's a girl at the front who seems to be the badass soldier.
Is it Ronda Rousey?
No, it's not. It's shit. That's what it is.
Fair enough.
Next question from William Lowry. Hey, William.
Hey, man.
Why do you think the 80s is considered one of the greatest decades when it comes to horror movies? And who's the better brother, Mario or Luigi? Well, everyone knows it's fucking Luigi.
Yeah, I mean, he lived in that haunted mansion. He's fucking hot.
Yeah, well, Mario has to jump on him to get over.
Very true.
You know?
Stepping on his taller brother.
That's it. Who makes sure nobody goes into the bedroom after he finds the princess?
Oh, yeah.
Plunge her away.
Poor Luigi.
Poor movie.
Do you know what? Do you know why horror was so big in the 80s? I would say it's because of what was called home video.
Yeah.
So it brought horror to the masses at home and stuff. So then you had the video nasties, and it was mostly by reputation.
The thing is,
because a lot of people will say as much as my favourite sort of like time for horror movies is probably the 80s.
Yeah.
That's what I grew up on. But then I know a lot of people go like the much earlier, like, you know, the Hammer horrors and stuff like that, and a lot of the very religious orientated ones from the 70s.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the way probably the countries were.
Witch Hunter General and shit like that.
So,
the 80s was just a different time in terms of sensibilities, in terms of what you could get away with on film.
It was all about excess, wasn't it?
It was also some of the most imaginative special effects practitioners in the world working on film at those times to give us some of the best monster effects. There was people, you know, you had the ghosts or the monster, the supernatural stuff. You had the serial killer stuff. I just think it just was the perfect blend of everything that had come before it. You know, all the decades of horror leading up to the 80s just really culminated in them really honing the craft at that point. And there's still good horror movies coming out, but they'll never reach the peak that we did in the 80s, which is why today all the films from the 80s have been remade now, because it's like we don't have the new ideas.
Trying to capture it again.
We can try and improve upon the effects, and still they're not quite hitting it with the CGI that you had with the practical stuff.
It's just, it was a crazy time.
Alien,
I think as well. Just we've seen it all, haven't we?
Yeah.
I mean,
come on.
That's
what can you do? We've seen it all.
We have seen it all.
So, like,
you look at, I mean,
something truly scary like that.
1979, we had Halloween come out and Alien. You know?
Yeah.
1979, people were absolutely terrified. Halloween's got no blood in it.
No.
You know, Aliens got a couple of jump scares, but nothing too major.
Stuff off screen, isn't it?
Yeah,
Alien has that chest burster.
It has the chest burster. Yeah.
Sorry,
After that, 1981, you have Evil Dead come out.
Yeah.
And it's just like, these guys have gone to the cinema and watched that. So now we want to make something more scary. And then before you know it, everyone else has just seen what Evil Dead has done on a minuscule budget. They think they can do it even better. We get fucking smothered by just horror. You know, you got stuff like street trash, dude.
Yeah.
You know, you got street.
Oh fuck!
You got
horror.
Cannibal
Do
Holocaust.
you know, as soon as you said its name, as soon as you said street trash, it's like I'd repressed it.
Yeah.
And it all came back
That
for a second.
penis sequence.
I almost had like a visceral reaction to it. Like,
you know, fucking like I said with Cannibal Holocaust and Cannibal Ferox. You know, it's just like how far can we push the envelope? And people are like, oh no, they're starting to notice now. We're now bringing in.
Now we're offending people.
Now we're offending people. Now we're bringing in the censors. But it's weird what you can get away with in one country, which is allowed in another country, you know, but not allowed in that country. But if you release it over that country, it makes enough money that you can buy those people in that country and get the film released.
yeah.
You know, it was a great time. And then it kind of slowly died, and we got Scream.
Well, that was a reinvention of the horror. That was an adrenaline shot to the to horror.
But it didn't last. It did not last at all. The best thing you got after Scream was what? Devil's Rejects.
Yeah.
And
1,000 Corpses.
Yeah, there's a few gems in there.
And then the next thing after that you go put up there is what? A Serbian movie and fucking just.
Which isn't a horror movie.
No, I know. It's just a horrible movie. It's pushing the envelope because, like you said, we've seen everything.
Yeah.
We're not scared of anything anymore, and yeah, kids. That's why we leave it to the kids. Kids, you don't get it. It was chocolate sauce back in the day. Back in black and white, it was chocolate sauce. Next question from Tom WJ Sexton. Hey Tom.
What up?
Do you think PC culture and political agendas are ruining entertainment? Thanks, guys. Thanks again, guys. Keep up the good work.
Fuck yeah, I can.
I think we just obviously talked about it with the horror stuff. With everything we've seen in film, people have had to sheriff other shit.
Well, yeah.
PC culture has emerged because we've been given freedom to watch beheadings and rape sequences and burnings and hey, look what religion does in other countries. Woohoo! It's terrifying out there. I have a 9-year-old son that I'm fucking worried about actually showing the world. But knowing if I turn, I turn my back,
my daughter lives in a fantasy land. Yeah. I don't live in half of this.
No, everything's.
Oh my god.
You know, but if I turn my back, he's got access to the internet and can just.
But how do you think though that it's affected? Do you think it's ruining the entertainment we get though, the actual culture of it, or like you said, where we're petrified of?
I think it's
saying
only,
anything to offend each other or whatever.
I think it's only ruining the entertainment if you really get offended by everything. But if you get offended by everything, why are you looking for this offensive thing?
Well,
just because you're offended doesn't make you right. And to those that are easily offended,
it's not my problem.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, let's
get really upset with those that go, hey, not politically correct.
The problem is though we are trying to create a utopian society which stamps out negativeness, but with that comes the PC culture. You know, I'm gonna take
it's
a really
like anything, mate. As humans, we just take shit too far, don't we?
No, well,
on both sides. One, it's like probably if we didn't say these horrific things, people wouldn't get upset. But also, people when they get upset, get too fucking upset. Do you know what I mean? And
that's what's happening now. I think it's the taking it to extremes.
Yeah, everything's got to be done to the nth degree. If something offends you, you've got to be the most offended person.
Well, no, you've got to be careful, right? Because
if you're gonna say something bad about people because you don't give a fuck, you've got to say the worst thing you can think of because it's got to make an impact. So we're kind of it's just extremes on both sides.
Well, no, you got to be careful to a certain degree because like Jamie Bolger, killed. Right. Kids immediately say that they go and watch Child's Play 3.
That was their scapegoat.
That was their scapegoat, So they tried to use entertainment to allow them to get away with this horrible crime. People had been doing horrible crimes for fucking years up to this point, and they all tried to use entertainment as the reason, and it never works. You cannot use games or films as the reason why you're a horrible cunt. you're just a horrible
Sometimes
cunt.
You just are.
But the good thing about PC culture and political, right? and political correction, political agendas is we're actually allowed now to turn around to people and go, "You are a horrible cunt, so knock it off." And that horrible cunt can't turn around to us and go, "No, it's my freedom right to do that. I'm allowed to do this." It's no, you're being a horrible cunt. Stop it. Problem is, though, is where do you stop that? I mean, you know, when we get to line like with religion, you know, priests are horrible cunts.
I don't know. In The Exorcist, it's a priest that I want.
You know,
very true.
There are you know, people who are in power who are horrible cunts and have agendas and views and control us and tell us to do certain things.
Most politicians.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not happy with politicians at the moment.
It's working to a point.
Madness, isn't it?
At least we don't live in a Escape from New York universe,
There's always that.
a Doomsday universe,
Yeah.
a Mad Max universe, a Terminator 2
Battle Royale
universe,
universe.
a Battle Royale universe.
Oh, yeah.
Send all the kids to murder each other on an
What was
island.
that film with Rebel Wilson in? The comedy. At least we don't live in that universe.
We're definitely heading into the idiocracy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Terry Crews and
Yeah.
Oh, Terry
One of
Crews as
Wilson's?
president.
Yeah.
I'd vote for Terry Crews to be president. That would
Might as
totally
well.
be PC.
He might as well.
Mate, he might be running with the amount of people that are running for it. He might genuinely be running.
Yeah, you know.
So, yeah.
Imagine him telling people stop being horrible cunts.
Yeah, if we end up in the Demolition Man universe,
Ian Buckingham, you have been fined 1 credit for the moral verbal
We
reality.
will never run out of toilet paper. Ever. We will
Linda's
never,
like, we're broke.
ever have to attempt the 3 seashell method. Ever.
Free seashells. Next question's from Adam Richard Corrigan. Hey Adam, if I'm running down the road and a chicken is doing math, where are all the spoons?
There is no spoon.
Well,
Adam, you should know better.
yeah, and obviously it depends on if you have a flamingo.
I can
or
say
not.
what I want. I was best man at his wedding, so whatever.
Yeah, so
You did that on purpose, didn't you, you dick?
I was gonna say, should we call him a horrible cunt?
I'll text him in a minute.
yeah, text him. If you had to pick a director to direct an Alien reboot, fucking hell, who would it be? Neil Blomkamp.
Neil Blomkamp.
Neil
yeah.
Blomkamp.
Right away.
Yeah, just
But this
done.
is a reboot, so
Neil Blomkamp for an Alien reboot. Yeah.
I'd also get David Fincher.
What the
I bet it'd have tits, but
What's in the box?
oh, and it's got back titties. On the... yeah.
Kevin Spacey is a new android, leaking white stuff everywhere.
Oh man.
Yeah, but it'd be funny to do it if you actually had him come in and he was like an old school kind of android. Like, it's not like, oh, he just
Like
looks
Gary
like a
from
human.
Alien.
Yeah, he don't look like you know, he don't look like just Kevin Spacey, like Fassbender, like, and he just happens to be a robot. It's like, no, he comes in and it's like the maid from Spaceballs, but with Kevin Spacey's voice.
Suck, blow, blow. Oh, there goes the neighborhood.
What got created.
Yeah. Next question's from Nick Reed. Hey Nick, live stream a podcast. You guys have talked about it in the past. Yeah, we should probably do that at some point.
Yeah, right.
Gary, you can wear whatever t-shirt you want. We can't smell it. To you and your guests, favorite animal and favorite mythological creature.
For me, dragons. Straight up. Always has been since a child. Been fascinated by dragons. Pete's dragon. The George and the dragon.
Yeah.
You know,
Komodo dragons.
yeah, you know, Chinese dragons.
Bruce
Komodo
Lee the
dragons.
dragon.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of
Girl with a dragon tattoo.
the girl from the dragon tattoo.
Kiss the dragon.
Ricky the Dragon
Ricky
Steamboat.
Dragon
I'm
Steamboat.
supposed to get Ricky Dragon. You went girl with the dragon tattoo first. What the fuck are you?
Somewhere to work back from.
Dragon Slayer, Blazing Dragons. Any more?
Dungeons and
well,
Dragons.
I don't know.
Dungeons and Dragons.
It was a different question. You just started naming things with dragon in it.
Rain
so we
of
just went with it.
Dragons.
Rain of Fire.
Rain of Fire, sorry.
Yeah.
But dragons, hell yeah, I love dragons.
Favorite mythological creature?
I mean,
Mythologicals are very, as in like, can you say? Do you have to go like Bigfoot or can you say Godzilla?
yeah.
It's not mythological, is it?
No.
As in it's got to have a myth about it.
Yeah.
So Bigfoot,
I mean, I always like.
old Sasquatch.
But then, I mean, I always like the myth about the Minotaur in the middle of the maze. But I never liked the idea of the Minotaur because he just seemed really fucking stupid, stuck in the middle of the maze. But the bronze statue from is it Jason and the Argonauts with the Achilles?
Achilles.
Heel? They put
Oh,
out
the
Yeah.
Talos.
Talos.
Yeah.
That was pretty badass.
Yeah, the giant statue protecting the gold, all the treasure.
Oh, the three animated girls off the side of the vase from Hercules. They're pretty badass.
Oh, the animated one where they
Yeah.
sing.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And it's got that centaur thing with the one eye. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Centaurs are pretty badass.
Mhm,
Half
centaurs
man,
are
half
pretty good.
horse.
Nice.
Half man, half force and name your sex move. I never liked unicorns. Fucking unicorns were just. I mean, I know there's this whole mythological thing about them being good and spirited, but they're a horse with a horn in the end and they're not even vicious.
What about in Cabin in the Woods?
Were they vicious, isn't that?
Yeah, there's a unicorn. He fucking stabs a dude.
Oh,
shit. Head jab.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'll go with unicorns. Yeah. Unicorns pretty bad.
Got my jab.
Give him wings. Give him missiles underneath as well. What was that flaming fire one from Dungeons and Dragons? That was pretty badass.
Uni.
Yeah.
No,
the evil guy wrote his one.
Oh, I can't remember. No, you got too far now.
Yeah, I've gone too far now. You got any creatures?
Other than what we just I'd say Bigfoot. Bigfoot, right?
Yeah.
Fucking awesome. Casual as fuck. Got filmed once, didn't have to come back again. It's just dude seems chill.
Bigfoot or the Abominable Snowman? Or are they the same thing?
Yeah, I mean, I assume it's a winter coat situation.
The white man, black man kind of thing.
Yeah, if you like. Yeah. I ain't going to touch on that. I'm just going to go with the winter coat.
Winter coat. Yeah. Next question is from Zane Makers. Hey Zane.
Yo.
Give me your favourite John Hughes films from each of you. Also, all Star Trek series ranked from best to worst. And the movies. Can't wait for the podcast, guys. Fist bumps and good luck.
I'm just going to say it's Planes, Trains and Automobiles, 1987. Hands down best John Hughes movie. I watched it over and over and over and over again. Once a year. Almost every year. It was the ultimate Thanksgiving film. I know we don't have it over here, but it should be.
Yeah.
I can't watch that film because John Candy makes me cry. Yeah. I can watch Breakfast Club though. That's amazing. Sure. I mean,
Home Alone was my childhood favourite.
Oh, Home Alone,
but, still Planes, Trains now.
I'm going to say Breakfast Club as well.
Yeah.
It's that panty shot.
Obviously.
It's like
Weird Science. Oh, shit.
Weird Science, great choice. Yeah.
You're blazing all your weed. I can't, sir. It's in his pants.
Yeah.
Weird
we
Science
we talked a lot about Star Trek in the last podcast, though. So.
I mean,
Wrath of Khan wins.
Wrath of
Khan, best film,
just
easy.
Out of everything.
Yeah.
Then original series, Next Generation, Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
Voyager, Enterprise.
Not Insurrection. Insurrection is like way down, way down there.
First Contact I think was my favourite movie. The other than Khan.
The Generation era.
Yeah. Nice. Next question is from Amir Osman. Hey Amir. Also, with Article 13 have been passed by the EU. Have been passed by the EU?
Yes, it has.
And you guys have already talked about it once of your previous podcast.
Right.
Can you remind us once again what is the danger of Article 13 that you can that can negatively impact your channel, and would you be making any sort of backup of your work? We're always making backups.
Yeah, as much as possible.
But trying to find a platform to show it with obviously the laws in place will be extremely difficult. But fuck it, we'll just do this. Sit in front of a camera and tell you not to go see that new Halloween movie. That could
be the future. Within 2 years, that could be the future of a lot of content creators. I mean, YouTube itself, depending on how far Article 13 really goes, because even though the law has been passed, nobody knows what the fuck it actually means.
I was going to say, if it's anything like Brexit, we are not going to see it for another...
Article 13 is going to go case by case by case until lawyers actually figure out what the fuck Article 13 actually is. We don't really know.
Yeah.
So it is a real mess, you know.
And at the same time,
what really pisses me off, and why I'm swearing a lot, it's because, you know, Article 13 had to go through multiple stages where lots of politicians voted on it again and again and again, and then, you know, the chairman would be like, okay, so, you know, even though it passed, we're gonna say it didn't, and we'll call another vote in another month's time. And they did it again and again and again and again, and it passed every time, despite the fact that millions of people have gone to their politicians and said, we don't want this, vote against it. And what did all those politicians do? They went and voted for it. Why would they vote for it if they're going against their constituents?
Because they get paid.
Because they got paid the big bucks. Who from? The big corporations and studios. Article 13 exists for one thing only: to protect the biggest billionaire studios in the world. And that is it.
At the moment, sucks. But at the moment, though, it's at a stalemate where they are spending. Hopefully, it gets to a point where they're spending far too much money to try and keep it afloat, trying to fight against
to police
people.
it, you mean?
Yeah, to police it, because once you start pushing the world to a Fahrenheit 451 fucking existence, Matrix fucking everything is controlled, policed, 1984, we're just gonna burn your towers. I mean, we will fucking come screaming down. There's what, 2 or 3 policemen outside number 10 Downing Street. That's not.
Well, there's one copper outside.
Yeah, but
snipers on a fucking roof.
What I'm saying is, as well, it's like they'll get to that point where they're like, we're spending far too much money trying to get this, and even then, when we do put this in, we've then got to go up against these people, to obviously stop them from claiming money. How much money are they making? About 52p a day. Oh, really? Yeah. Is that enough to make that new Hellraiser movie? No, not yet. Right, just keep an eye on them.
Yeah. What I understand, I can imagine the inception of Article 13 coming from a good place.
Yeah.
Because it's something that is drastically needed when it comes to policing illegal content on the internet.
Yeah.
Now, we see it when we go on YouTube and we look and go, oh, look, the whole film is on YouTube. That's illegal.
Yeah.
But, the copyright holders are not there. They don't have the money to enforce it. So it doesn't happen. You're not going to go on to YouTube and go, oh, look, Captain Marvel, the entire film is there.
Yeah.
Unless you're paying a price for it. It's just not going to happen. So I can understand that there is a need for it. Now, as a YouTuber, we get hit with copyright strikes and copyright takedowns a lot. And what would be great for us is to go, this is the law, which is you're allowed 10-second clips in your video, therefore you are fair use. But there is no law that says a certain amount of clips time. It is just none of it now. With Article 13 it is you're allowed none of it. It all belongs to the film studio. How much they can enforce that law and how much that is impacting on fair use is now what is up for questioning.
Yeah.
So I can see it coming from a good place, but it is just been manipulated.
Yeah, but I mean,
you have to see how it unfolds. Like you said, it could.
We're going to go with the flow.
I was
going to go with the flow.
Yeah, I mean, we've gone to a point now where we're so established. I suppose we're underground that we could just do this, like a lot of people do, and just talk about the film that we are talking about with no.
There would be no footage. You wouldn't even be allowed the poster
because of Article 13. But we would still give you the honest review of if it's a good film or if it's a bad film. But ultimately, it's the interaction with the audience, and that's what the big companies can never take away really from. They don't realize that if they supported people like us, they'd make a hell of a lot more money because people would be going to watch their films. But because they do pull out some dregs, like Doom Annihilation, and go, hey, why don't you go to the cinema and watch it? And then people like us watch it and go, fuck no. They go like, oh my god, we hate you, we're gonna take you to the cleaners.
So it's a strange time to with Article 13 going ahead,
and Brexit.
Jeez.
Don't ask, don't tell, don't know.
No one knows.
So it's going to be like Doomsday over here soon. There's going to be a mass load of cows, but we're going to be eating everybody.
Fair
enough. Next question's from Matt Midgley. Hey Matt.
Hey Matt.
Brilliant as always, guys. My next question for the next podcast is: if Clive Barker announced a reboot of Hellraiser, what advice would you give him, and how do you think he would update it?
Walk away, not today.
Give it a Neil Blomkamp.
Why not?
I don't know. Clive Barker could easily. He hasn't made a film in a long time.
What was the last film he made?
I don't know.
The Meat Train?
Midnight Meat Train, but I don't even think he made that. It was just based on his book.
I was going to say that.
It was just based on his book.
He didn't make more Warhead Rex, did he?
No.
No, that was shit.
That was a studio made. The only films I know of Clive Barker really made was the Hellraiser 1 and 2 and part of 3. I don't know of that many other films where he was just like, I'm taking whole.
Fuck it, give the boy a shot again then.
Yeah, just then do Hellraiser 1 again. I did have this really cool idea where you take the idea of Hellraiser and a family moves in there. Mum, dad, little kid. And it's pretty much like Hellraiser 1 where the boy finds the box in a little cubby hole, activates it and disappears. But the brother turns up, and the brother had been missing for a while, and obviously it turns out that he's used the box to open a gateway to hell, and that's where he's been, and he's traded places with the boy. And the boy, my idea was like
the same person. Yeah. So the young one that goes in is also the old one that comes out.
That's very good. I did like that idea. But he's been tortured, and he wants to send his mother and father back there because the Cenobites are coming for him. Yeah.
Because fuck you, Dad.
Fuck you, blood, guts, gore. But it's all encapsulated in that one house. That's the cool thing about Hellraiser. You got to kind of just
mix a bit of poltergeist in there. Just
Sam
keep it at the house.
Carol Ann.
I love the original Hellraiser so much. I think it's one of the greatest horror films. Pinhead, Lead Cenobite, whatever.
Yeah.
Such a great icon of horror. I always remember he was like the first face I ever saw in the blockbusters. In the rental store.
Holding the box.
Always Pinhead nearby at the front door.
We'll tear your soul up.
The original film, the only thing that's dating it is the costumes. The outfits and what they wear. It's the only thing that dates it, because the film still holds up today in terms of horror, characters.
But that was the cool thing about my idea. What I was thinking was, actually, you know what? Give it that old 80s style appeal. Have them still dressed kind of
the 80s attire,
because people are always talking about, we need classic horror movies from the 80s. Instead of updating it, with mobile phones and shit.
You could just not date it whatsoever.
Yeah.
It was a really weird thing that Donna watched on
pre-mobile phones is usually the
she watched Sex Education on Netflix with Gillian Anderson in and I was watching a bit, I went in and out of it, but it's like it looks like they're in the 80s but they've all got iPhones,
right?
So it just doesn't date it in any kind of way, but
they don't
that means that when you rewatch
pop culture references,
when you rewatch it, then it all kind of like it doesn't get dated for that reason. So you could do the same sort of thing.
Well, that's it. If you also self-contain it in a house, and you don't have to show the outside world as well, just to have things coming in. You never have to really reveal what day or time it is, what week it is. Yeah.
Sorry.
Nice. Next question is from Kurt Drayton. Hey, Kurt.
What up?
Yo.
Great job with the subscriptions and views. Since Halloween is one of your highest rated series as far as views are concerned, any chance we can get a 2018 Halloween review? Or maybe finish the rest of Friday the 13th or Elm Street reviews, especially part 3, as those movies are big over here in the States. Great job and keep up the good work. Cheers, man. Yeah. I still haven't watched the new Halloween yet.
That's sacrilegious, Iain. That's unbelievable.
I have bought DVDs offline and not put it in my basket. I don't know what I don't know. I'm waiting. I'm like, I know it's there, and I'm like, I know it's good. I'm just.
We definitely will do now.
Oh yeah, definitely.
There's been has there been 2 Chucky movies that have come out, or one that we haven't reviewed yet?
We haven't. Yeah, we didn't do. No.
Has there been 2 now? We've reviewed 6.
No,
of them,
we did the one with the girl in the wheelchair. We haven't done the one where she's in the mental institution.
Yeah, so we've got a Child's Play movie to catch up with. We've got a Halloween movie to catch up with, and all the Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Streets. They are all on the list.
And the Texas Chainsaws.
There's also a Predator film.
Predators.
Any film series that we've reviewed in its entirety, and more sequels have come out since. They're definitely on the to-do list. As of whether they'll be this year or not, it's hard to say. We'll try and do as many as possible, but we are working through a backlog of Patreon requests, and I know quite a few Patrons are asking when is their review coming up, and I'm like, in about 3 months. And it's like, it's been 3 months already. And I'm like, yeah, I know, it's a long list of requests.
Well, that's it. I mean, we only have the 1 day a week where we film at the moment, and recently obviously I had to take a step back from editing because I was going to explode with everything going on in work. So Gary's obviously taking on the workload, and we're working through it, but we are maintaining it really well. We are still keeping to the once a week reviews. If we get to a point where we can put up more and edit at another pace, I mean, maybe Article 13 could do that.
Right.
They'll fuck us over, so it will just become a daily show where we're just, on the internet, just doing live things.
Do commentaries for films.
Doing commentaries and shit. All the Halloween, we've done all the Halloween, so all the Friday 13s are definitely there. All the Nightmares are there. We have to do the remake Nightmare Around.
Yeah. Harsh. With Rorschach in.
Yeah.
We've done the remake Friday though.
We did the remake
original Friday. Obviously, we want to do the Saw series first.
I'd love to do the Saw series. I want to do the Final Destination
series. We've got to do the Children of the Corn series.
No, we don't.
We've also got to do
or the Leprechaun series.
Leprechaun series. That'll be really, really good to do. We've got to finish off the Tremor series.
Yes, we do. We've done the first one, haven't we?
Wow, what else is there?
Like just gluttons for punishment.
The Sleepaway Camp series. If you really want to go there, we got to do that. I can't believe we made it through Critters.
Yeah.
And you watched the TV series. That was shit.
Yeah, we'll talk about that one in the next podcast if we don't mention it before then.
Yeah.
But that was the last question.
That was the last question.
So before we wrap it up, because we are live streaming for the first time ever, if there's anyone in the comments section that want to throw some questions at us very quickly before we wrap things up, we'll answer a couple of questions.
Shit, yeah. I'll have to wait for the 10-second delay. But first question that comes in after Lord Isaacs, who's talking about Rob Van Dam.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
I need to see JCVD. I haven't seen that yet.
Rob Van Damme.
That was
Gary.
Gary, have you seen Tangerine? Oh.
No, but I've heard somebody talking about it. Did Red Letter Media talk about it?
Gary watching Tangerine would be amazing.
What's Tangerine?
It's a film, a Los Angeles film, which is filmed, Matthias said, is on mobile phone cameras.
Right.
And it's about two transvestites, men going through the operation to become women in Los Angeles, obviously dealing with their lives and dealing with relationships. Kind of raw and gritty.
Yeah, I heard it was a good drama, so I'm kind of curious to see it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to grab other questions from here. Why doesn't Iain use a headset when playing Red Dead Redemption 2? I do, but I usually do it when I'm in the Discord channel. Obviously, there is a link in...
There's a link here now. Yeah,
there's a link in the YouTube page to the Discord channel. Obviously, if you want to sign up to that. I try to get on Friday nights for Red Dead Redemption 2 with the headset. I was on a couple of nights ago actually talking to a guy in New Zealand, Campbell, what up? Matthias in Belgium. And I usually play with Zane during the day as well when he wakes up.
Nice. Yeah.
Other questions throw out?
Eric Brown asks, do we know Oliver Harper? I know of him.
Yeah, not personally.
Don't know him personally.
He does those good pictures.
Who the fuck is Oliver Harper?
Oliver Harper does retrospective reviews, and he's been running, maybe 3 or 4 years longer than us.
Yeah.
Does a lot of film commentaries as well. I think he's got some great insight, and I think he's got some great co-hosts as well. So yeah, mad respect for Oliver Harper.
But obviously he's no off the shelf.
No.
I'm just throwing it out there, right? Well, he's a celebrity, but then so was Michael Jackson. So. Hey guys, where would you rather go for a night out? The Titty Twister or the Slaughtered Lamb?
Titty Twister.
Well, fuck you guys, the Slaughtered Lamb. They're not going to eat me.
But titties.
Titties.
Yeah, but
Machete.
Rowan Atkinson. Not Rowan Atkinson. Rick Mail's there.
But Rick Mail's like all that's
there.
Titties.
The bald guy.
Oh, the bald guy from Alien 3's there.
Yeah, I'd walk up and be like, say that line and be like, this is rumour control. Like,
this is the facts.
What's your inspiration, Andy? What's your inspiration for working out? He wants to be like me.
Yeah, I one day want to be as big as Iain. Yeah.
Like Scott Steiner.
Fucking gun show. Bitch. I just love it, man. It's my jam. I love going into the gym and working out. I used to be really fat, dude. So it's mostly just
we
it is, and I just feel healthier for sure. And but I do actually really enjoy
definitely
weight training
because you always your job involves a lot of sitting down as well.
Yeah, I'm at the office a little bit, and it's
and
it's
obviously
fucking awful.
Best way to get out.
But I got really into I used to do a lot of heavyweight training because when you're young and you want to fucking lift weights, bro, and have a
stand up, yeah.
Exactly, without that is how they do it as well. They're like that first.
That's why I don't do it because I can do it.
Now I much prefer the stuff like CrossFit and stuff like that, which is like a really good laugh, or like throwing kettlebells around. We got a big group of us.
You get the sweatband around your head. And
dude, fucking sweatbands
like
everywhere.
3 layers of leotards all cut into things.
Turn one into a fucking mankini just to catch the ball sweat.
Yeah. I mean, it might as well just all shrink down there because you're just building up your arms.
Yeah, my inspiration for working out is because no one else really does, and I have to get these conversations. That's my inspiration. Just to send him on a rant.
Man, when you were always trying to get me to come, I was like, no.
Come on. I remember you did. Yeah, I remember you going to a gym
worse than sunlight,
and it was like just every time the trainer, because this is when I didn't really go to a gym either. I was trying to join one, so I knew nothing about what I was doing.
Yeah.
So the trainer was like, okay, guys, so this machine is like, I don't know, a fucking shoulder press. So you just sit in it and now lift this, and he'd be like, go on then. And every time he'd just be like, oh, you do it.
Yeah,
he wouldn't even do the cursory no weight lift for insurance purposes to show
man,
that
I
he wasn't
do
an
enough
idiot.
walking around.
And he'd be like, no, you do it.
Man, I walked for fucking 34 fucking years of my life and fucking worked with my arms moving around. I do a very physical job. I eat bacon sandwiches,
dude,
keep myself
that's why
alive.
You're so built.
Yeah, exactly. Triple H just looks at me and goes, oh,
if only. If
only
I could be like that guy over there who's sweating on it because he stood in his chair to see me.
Yeah.
And that made him sweat because he did a step up.
Some people,
that guy.
You want to scroll back up a second, Ian?
Yeah, scroll it back up, sorry. Oh gosh. I've made it.
It's broken everything.
Gone too far now. Gone too far. Where's the scroll?
You literally just saw what can happen.
Right. Have I gone too far?
Down, Ian, back down, Ian.
Gone too far. Gone too far.
Just stop. Just read something.
No, but way back down here. You're going the wrong.
Okay, I've gone all the way back down to the bottom. That's easier. It's your mouse, man. Okay, right. Hey guys, cheers from Brazil, from Pedro Martinez.
Hey,
you guys have a few beers after. Yes, I've just had a couple of beers.
I'm
listening to the live stream from Soup Eye View with his 5s and 3s. Hopefully you make them a regular thing, regular show. Shout out to regular show there.
Well, there's been a few questions asking if we are going to do more live streams in the future.
Yes.
Now we are approaching April, which is the third annual Off the Shelf Reviews Twitch stream.
Yes.
Which usually they are 24 hours in length. Me and Ian have decided that we're too old to do 24 hours.
I am too old.
Gary would sleep
halfway through, and trying to stay awake for 24 hours. Once it's done, my brain dies.
For
literally,
like 3 days straight.
I have to just go to sleep. I've slept for 12 hours straight. But recently, with all of work and stuff like that, I've just felt really, really tired anyway. And it was getting closer to the time, and I'm like, what am I going to play for fucking 24 hours? I'd get probably 15 hours into it.
We could have one ladder match on No Mercy.
Oh, fuck it, that would probably
24 hours.
Yeah, you'd give up. You would. You'd be like, fuck this, and I'd be like, no, you can't leave me like this. So we're planning on doing the 12-hour Twitch stream this year. We're planning on maybe doing it April 13th, which I think is a Sunday, or April 14th, which is a Monday. We will decide closer to time and announce it all on Facebook.
We'll put a video
Twitter,
up explaining when we're going to do it.
But also with the 12 hours, we will be doing it from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m.
UK time.
UK time, so that we can cover
rough, though.
all of.
It's like watching an average WrestleMania.
Yeah, well, that's why I didn't want to do it on WrestleMania weekend, because that's what happened last year.
Yeah.
So that we can cover everybody all over the world, because obviously everyone's up at different times. We are planning on doing possibly the new Resident Evil Biohazard, because I haven't done it.
Yeah.
And maybe I Have No Mouth and Want to Scream, because Gary says he wants to complete it.
Again.
Okay.
I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. That's a great game. Ian's just thrown that out there. We never even had this conversation. Ian's just liking to make things up as he does.
Just thrown out.
No, for the future we do want to do more live streams. I think we do. Andy and I have discussed doing a commentary for a certain.
What did we do it for? Christmas? Kurt Russell.
The
Christmas
Chronicles.
Christmas Chronicles did it for that.
But we've got something in mind that we want to do a commentary for as well. Just see if we can get Ian round at the same time as
Jack and Jill.
It's no.
No, because the commentary is just you'd be watching the movie on silent and just with Gary going all the way through.
You holding him down and me holding his head.
Yeah. Just let me die.
But definitely all future podcasts I think will be live streamed.
Yes, I think this was a success.
I think there's definitely a success, and I think we for the next podcast we will put a question out for the questions. But I think we might also just take more questions in the future from the live streams, which I think will work better for us. It gives us more interaction with you that turn up to watch us and ask you questions and get an answer straight away.
Yes.
Sweet.
So with that, we're just going to bring this podcast to a close. So I want to say thanks for watching, everyone. Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Andy. We'll be back next month with another podcast. Of course, new film reviews on Thursdays. You can find us on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Patreon. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Take it easy.
Let's do the awkward shuffle now.
Nice. 10-second delay. 10-second delay.
No, because you finish it where it's like one of us is like, God, I hate sitting next to you. That's get out. Like.
Cheers, guys.